Happy Wednesday, everybody. Can you hear my mic? I think we checked it. I see a mic there. We good? Give me a thumbs up if my mic's working. My favorite person. God damn, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. You guys hear it okay? What is going on here? TJRTP. I like that. I like that a lot. Welcome, everybody. Happy Wednesday, halfway through the week. Unless you have a 4-day work week and then just one more day. Congratulations on making it this far. We'll try and make the time go a little faster today than the rest of your morning and the rest of your day. We hope to make this go a little faster. Theme today. There's a couple themes I've seen today. The main theme today is cancel culture. Republicans are just canceling everybody. That's all they want to do. Like we've said it before, but like in a high demand group, you eventually run out of people to cancel. And so you cancel and cancel and cancel until the group gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And the Republicans are getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. But yeah, they're out to cancel. And while they're canceling each other, while they're infighting, while they're freaking the fuck out about literally everything, just like I'm on Twitter today, you can't do anything without Republicans freaking out. They'll freak out about anything at this point. They will infight about anything. And while that's happening, Donald Trump is out here saying any person or company investing $1 billion or more in the United States of America will receive fully expedited approvals and permits, including, but in no way limited to, all environmental approvals. Get ready to rock. He's just selling us out, guys. He's just selling us out to the billionaire class. And unfortunately, I posted a video about this morning. You look on social media, the response from Republicans is, this will create jobs. This will incentivize people to create new jobs. You have to invest in order to create jobs. We don't need more jobs. We have too many jobs. We have jobs that aren't being filled. We need good paying jobs. We need people owning their own businesses, controlling their own futures. Not very many people have $1 billion. Very few. Not many corporations have $1 billion. You know who does have $1 billion? Billionaires. The Saudis. The Russians. Who does this apply to? It only applies to his donors, doesn't it? For the life of me, for Republicans, at what point do you look at this versus what he campaigned on and say, shit, maybe he lied. Maybe he is just like doing the bidding of the rich. You guys told us he was going to take care of the middle class. And now you're stuck trying to figure out how tariffs and tax breaks for billionaires are going to make you more money. Tariffs, where you'll get charged more money, and tax breaks for billionaires, which you don't get. And by the way, we know what happens when tax cuts happen for billionaires. They pocket it. They go to stock buybacks. They go to purchase land. They go to increase their net worth. In Elon's case, they go to crypto scams. We've got to keep shouting it from the rooftops. We've got to keep being loud about this because our country is being sold. It's being sold off piece by piece to the highest bidder. Let me pull up the payment apps here today. I appreciate all you guys being here. I appreciate all the support you've shown this week. Off tomorrow, you'll see the Venmo and the Cash App tags. If you would like me to read a message, send a donation to Venmo or Cash App with your message. I'll be happy to read it. We are also set up to do super chats on YouTube now, and Jen will get those to me during the live. So I won't see them super quick, but Jen will get those to me as fast as we can. So if you're watching on YouTube, we'll get those comments as well. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube, please do. That'd be great. Like a video, leave a comment while you're there. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, and Facebook. And then if you'd like an invite to our Discord, which is a wonderful place sometimes, shoot any of our moderators a message and they'll get that to you. And shout out moderators. For those of you who are here so far, appreciate it. We have the best mods in the business. Our TikTok moderators work their fingers to the bone every single day. They don't get enough recognition. They don't help. They don't. They're not told enough by me how much we appreciate you. Thank you to the TikTok mods and the Discord mods. We appreciate everything you're doing, and it's great to have you here. Let's jump into some stuff. I found this by accident. I don't remember what article I was reading, but I was reading an article, and then at the end of the article, this popped. Like down at the bottom, it was like there was a link that said, "Should JD Vance run for president?" And I was like, "That's interesting. That's a weird link at the end of an article." So I was like, I'm gonna go with it." So you guys we can answer this together. Should JD Vance run for president in 2028? Yes or no? Now, this is before you guys make your decision. This was pre-Ozempic, so if that matters to you, this is pre-Ozempic JD Vance. He is a little slimmer now. Okay, so I'm seeing mostly no's in the chat. I've not seen any yeses yet. There's a God no. Oof. Okay, two God knows, mostly knows. There's a hell no. Can Couch be his VP pick? If that changes things for you, sure. All right, so we're gonna go with no. I'm gonna click on that. Your answer is almost complete. Felt like a complete answer to me. What is your first name? I'm gonna say my first name is Dick. Richard, but I go by Dick. And what is your email address? Let's say my name is Richard Cheeseman, but everybody just calls me Dick Cheese. And I have my own website, dickcheese.com. And so I'm going to put in my email address there, dickcheese@dickcheese.com. All right, cool. So now after they've answered the question, now they've got my email address. I wonder why they wanted that. Okay. Submitted it. Great. Do you believe the United States economy got worse during the Biden-Harris administration? Oh, it saved my answers. I'm going to fuck up their thing. No, it was. How would you rate your current financial situation in today's economy? We're going to say average. I think most of us would say average. Do you currently have an IRA or other retirement accounts? Let's go with yes, I have an IRA. Do you want to shield your retirement savings from the tumbling Joe Biden economy? Do you see where they're going here? What do you think's going to happen here? What do you think's about to happen here? All right. Do I want to shield? Let's say yes. Let's just say yes to see what they're doing here. Yes. Are you interested in learning about precious metals like gold and silver can safeguard? They didn't even get the sentence right. Are you interested in learning about how precious metals like gold and silver can safeguard your retirement savings? They use poll. They're just using a poll to sell MAGA gold. I am interested as shit. Yeah, tell me more about it. Oh, now submit. And where are we going? This is ilovemyfreedoms.com. Thank you for your vote. You've unlocked a free report. How to build a fortress around your nest egg. And you got Trump here with the victory fist and the blood dripping down his face here. And we've got Wealth Protection 2024. Reserve my free report. This is how easy it is, guys. This is how easy it is for MAGA Republicans to just grift off you. They do it nonstop. I dare you to click on an article from a Republican and not see a bunch of like things that are disguised as polls that are actually grift. This is the year of the grift. This is the administration of the grift. We grift after grift after grift. Let's show you. I'll show you guys again, but look what happens if you go to Twitter. If I go to Twitter and I click on my For You page, Elon Musk, ad, Charlie Kirk, Elon Musk, Ben Shapiro, Tim Pool, Ryan Fournier, Vivek, Dan Bongino. Notice all blue checks, Elon, Jack Posobiec, Ayanna Pressley. I follow almost exclusively left-leaning accounts, and that's my For You page. Just being conditioned, being programmed. There's nothing free speech about this, folks. Not a bit of this is free speech. I do think, if we're being honest, I think that the MAGA Republicans are starting to get it. We've been live about 10 minutes. Whoever said that. I actually think some of the MAGA Republicans, the ones that can. Did I bump that? Sorry. I talked to a friend this morning that runs a medical Mary Jane place, and I asked him if they were getting any indications from this administration about what they were going to do with medical Mary Jane. And I asked him about John Toon specifically. I just wanted to read you some of this answer. He said, John Toon has consistently taken the most anti-cannabis position possible. So is Barrasso, and Tom Cotton is a total, I can't say the word that he called him when it comes to medical MMJ. He's like 40, which means he has no. By the way, this is my semi-conservative friend, which means he's 40, which means he has no real friends and probably addicted to or in the pockets of some pharmaceutical company. They all oppose banking, schedule change, and any form of expansion. The only hope is that they recognize that if they don't do something with banking reform in the next 2 years, then they are likely to see the Democrats do something that would likely mean higher taxes, and even worse for them, social equity and social justice. Going to be an interesting year. My prediction is that in about a year, they will look up and realize they haven't made any movement on the lowest, most popular hanging fruit and try to do something then when might be too late and they've used up all their social capital. So even those that generally are supportive of conservatives are very worried about this administration, very worried about like the direction they're going. Everything they release seems to be either one, defending a sexual abuser, or two, announcing another gift to the billionaire class. That's it. I get right-wing notifications all the time from X. Don't follow, none of that crap. Yeah, they just push it out there. I mean, X is not free speech. It's crazy. Republicans, as long as you put up on X, you're like, look, we allow racial slurs. And they're like, yay, free speech. And then they just close their eyes and don't see what Elon Musk is doing to them. There's a reason Twitter's still bleeding users. And Twitter, like, it's going to suck. Unless Elon sells it, it can't be saved. But I don't know what they're going to do with Twitter at this point. It's just a propaganda arm of the Republican Party, and maybe that was just a $40 billion investment that Elon and his friends made so that they could win this election. I do want to talk about the political capital that Republicans are using up. And I was thinking about this the other day, like, is this something we're distracted about, or is it something that is worth our time? And I'd say this is worth our time to cover stuff like this, because Republicans are saying a lot of insane things right now. And for the next 2 years, they will be blamed for everything, because they have full control. So for all those people who said, why didn't VP Harris do anything when she was in office? You have 2 full years with more control than you guys have had. And I'm going to go ahead and guess that you'll spend those 2 years cutting taxes for billionaires and doing tariffs and inciting trade wars. But here is old Rick Scott. I always want to call him Ted Scott. Rick Scott just being pretty honest about the plans for this administration and their lack of care about norms in government and the Constitution in general, and that they are happy to live in the gray area. They are happy to chart uncharted territory of stripping away the rights of Americans by the few and mostly unelected bureaucrats that they plan to put in office here. But here's Rick Scott.
To get all of his appointees confirmed. And I couldn't tell whether he was sort of foreshadowing some recess appointments or not. How do you see that playing out? Who gets in? Will there be any more that, I mean, I think you know Matt Gaetz pretty well, but what else happens in your view?
Well, First off, we're going to get Trump's nominees confirmed, right? And you know, if we have to do recess appointments, I think we'll figure out how to do that. But I think look at his nominees. I mean, Marco Rubio, Pam Bondi from Florida, Mike Waltz, who doesn't have to be confirmed, is going to be National Security Advisor. Susie Wiles from Florida, who's the Chief of Staff. Wonderful people. You look at Pete Hegseth. Here's a guy that's a combat veteran. He knows the risk of sending troops into battle. He's led troops in battle. He knows people that have lost. He knew people that lost their lives. He knows people that have been injured. That's the type of person we want to run the Department of Defense.
Why? First of all, why? Why is Pete Hegseth? Why is leading troops in battle to qualify you to oversee the Department of Defense? But hear what they're saying. Let's hear what the Republicans are saying. We don't give a shit. We don't care if Americans have problems with our appointments. We are going to force them through. These appointments are going to get pushed through no matter what anybody says. And to say that this is something that everyday politics and frankly politics for the last really since Obama, politics have been a game of each party refusing to do anything. They don't want to confirm picks anymore. They did this with Biden. They fought Biden's picks all day long. But this isn't like left versus right. This is regular people, almost all people, versus the Republicans. But the regular people on the Republican side don't have the guts to stand up to their own party and say, we don't want Pete Hegseth. We don't want these people. We don't want Kash Patel. None of you want them, but none of you will say it either. And I think, honestly, the reason that if you're a Republican, you can't stand up and say this is because I think every one of you knows you'll be kicked out of the group. You don't get to have a difference of opinion there. You can't say, wait a minute, Trump doesn't make perfect picks. Because that Republican agenda since 2016 has been do whatever Trump says. He ran for re-election in 2020 with no agenda. He ran for election this year with like a couple of videos that they stole from Project 2025 with no details. We haven't had an agenda from the Republicans in 8 years. So you're just voting for the guy. That's who you're. None of you know. You keep telling us, oh, we'll wait and see. It's coming. Well, it's coming and it's happening, and we're watching it in real time. And we're not the only ones talking about it. I was shocked when I saw this video today. This is Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is a Newsmax host. Greg Kelly is far right on this political scale. Obviously, he's a anchor at Newsmax. Saying, I think that's where. Oh no, OAN is where Matt Gaetz is going. Listen to him talk about Pete Hegseth.
You though, once the name came down, and I love President Trump, but he's not infallible, and from time to time, personnel mistakes will be made, and I am allowed to say what I think about these mistakes. So then the New York Times story comes out. We all know that the fake news is the fake news, right? So I won't rely on the fake news. I'll rely on what his own attorney has said, that Pete Hegseth signed a non-disclosure agreement and paid money to a woman who accuses him of sexual assault. I was once accused of sexual assault, falsely. I would never in a billion years.
Yeah, no surprise there that a conservative commentator's been accused of sexual assault, but
years pay that person a dime. Pete Hegseth, that doesn't sound like a fighter. That sounds like somebody who's blackmailable. And I'm not comfortable with that individual being the Secretary of Defense. A couple of other quick things, if you don't mind. Look, I'm a person. I am flawed. I am no saint.
Right.
I have dealt with temptation. I have sinned. And yes, like Pete, and I believe, I hope he's on a journey to get himself closer to God. I am still tempted and all kinds of things. It can be challenging being a human being. The adultery. It's
severely more complicated when what you say are like when you're looking at Pete Hegseth and you're like, look, we're all tempted. Temptation is why you sexually assault somebody, because temptation. No, it's because lack of respect. You don't see other people as humans. You see them as objects. That's why that happens. It has nothing to do with temptation. That's why. Listen, this is why I hate religion in general, is because it allows people like Pete Hegseth and what's his name, Greg Kelly, to dismiss like their previous horrific actions as temptation from the devil and part of their journey. But still, I appreciate what Greg Kelly's saying here.
Matter is a real matter. Maybe not in the real world where laws against adultery are considered quaint and silly and kind of passé.
Yeah.
In the military, it's different. In the military, you might go to sea for 6 months, 9 months, maybe go to the desert for a year. And a lot of folks in the military leave behind somebody who is dear to them, perhaps a wife.
Yeah. Greg, I'm sorry to interrupt
you. If you don't mind, I do have to finish this thought. And if that wife engages with another service member it can have a real impact on the good order, morale, discipline of the military and make us less effective. That's a real thing, and it happens. It's happening now.
Did you see how he just turned to this on women? Did you see that? He's like, let me just say one thing. Now that I'm done bashing Pete Hegseth, I want to talk to the military wives out there. You harlots. You're also a problem. And we don't have laws in place that make adultery illegal in this country. And so I know I went after Pete Hegseth, but just in order to keep our crowd here, I do have to attack women now, too. I do have to include women in this for some reason.
It happens. It's human nature. It does happen. That must be against the law always in the military. Pete, it's well known, has violated that. I have had issues. We've all had issues. He should not be the Secretary of Defense with this record.
I'm going to say probably not all people have had this issue. Just going to throw it out there. I'm guessing not all people have had this issue.
What we will see are service members pointing to that individual. Look at all of the things that he has been through. I should not be held accountable for any of this stuff. And that is a major, major problem. Some of the reasons why I oppose Pete Hegseth, I've just shared with you.
Yeah. Some of the other reasons is that that makes a person really easy to blackmail. If somebody like Pete Hegseth continues to make decisions that he wants to cover up, which is why he paid somebody to sign an NDA, if he's that type of person who's willing to pay somebody to be quiet, he's probably also the same person who's willing to sell national secrets for somebody to keep quiet, or do a foreign government a favor to keep quiet, or put somebody in a position that they shouldn't be in to keep quiet. Right? Like this is why we're afraid of Trump's cabinet more than anything. Forget the fact that they're fucking dumb. Like, forget that set that aside for a second. Set aside that they're not the brightest group. They all have dirt. They all have histories that they all tried to bury. And those histories, when they come up, they pay to make them go away, or they try to make them pay to go away. It's the same issue we have with Trump. The issue with Donald Trump having NDAs, the issue with Donald Trump having these connections to other countries isn't so much that, like, oh, it's so immoral to have a relationship with another country, and frankly, I don't give a shit about his marriages. Like, if he wanted to step out on his wife, that's fine. I do not care. I really, really don't care at all about that. But what we know about all of them is that they are afraid for this information to get out, and they will do things that are illegal in order to keep this information from getting out. There has never been an administration, there has never been a group of people more ripe for being blackmailed than this administration. It's more than it's not virtue signaling. I honestly don't care that much about a person's personal life when they enter office. I really don't. And I don't think that any of us really should care that much. In fact, frankly, for decades, there were people that were kept out of office because they didn't follow like strict adherence to Christianity. And people didn't trust them because they're like, you broke some of God's commandments. And I think that there were good people who were passed over who had a history of just sinning. Let's call it sinning. So I don't want to get into the place where, like, if somebody did something that you might consider a sin, or you yourself might consider icky, that makes them disqualified. What makes them disqualified is the fact that they will lie when they're caught, and they will take money or spend money, or they'll use political capital to make sure it goes away. And that's the thing we need to be afraid of. And that's why we shouldn't nominate people like Pete Hegseth. But I do have questions. If everybody knows that, Greg Kelly knows that, you guys know that, we know that, everybody knows that Pete Hegseth is a bad choice, then why are Republicans lining up for Pete Hegseth? Why not somebody else? I'm going to ask the Republicans in the chat today to be a little bit brave. I want to know why you want Pete Hegseth. And if you don't want to come up, let's have this conversation, because I think that the reason you want Pete Hegseth is because Donald Trump picked him. And all of you are loyal to Donald Trump before anything else. If you can't explain something, you're going to stick with Trump, even if you don't understand what he's saying or don't like what he's saying. You say things like I used to do to dismiss the abuses by my church on people. Like you'll say things like, yeah, that's not the whole story, or it's just one bad apple, or it's one bad night, or he found Jesus since then. Like I don't care about the morals of somebody running the country, whatever it might be, right? Whatever your excuse might be for why you're still supporting them. Fine. I like we're not talking morals. Can we just put people in charge that can't be manipulated? Or at the very least are difficult to be manipulated? Elon Musk has dirt all over the place. And he doesn't have to be confirmed, but he's in the president's ear. Tulsi Gabbard is ripe for somebody to blackmail her. Pete Hegseth is ripe for somebody to blackmail him. We just look, you can win the election and you can put your people in with the ideas that we think are shitty. But can you put in people who aren't going to be blackmailed by other countries? And by the way, blackmailed by Donald Trump. Now you're setting up a scenario where all of these people aren't allowed to say no to Donald Trump, and you all are celebrating that. You can't tell us that this isn't a dictatorship. You can't tell us that this isn't fascistic. You are all rallying behind one person, and anybody who stands against him, even in your own party, you guys run out. Let me read messages. I'm going to try to be better at messages today. Mitria says, which is more sensitive, your mic or Bree's button? It's pretty sensitive. I don't know. Tex 45's here. Don't tell us what we want as Republicans. I know, Tex. You don't want me to tell you what you want as Republicans. You're waiting for Trump to tell you what you want. I get it. I'm not the savior. I'm not the person you worship. I'm sorry, but you can leave if you want. Cameron says, taking my shirt off and I lean back as my loins swell, pulsing like a drum. It's RTP Talks again. Good morning, Jay. You joke about dick cheese as my tip touches your little face on the screen. Yes, he's directly in the soak zone. Jesus Christ. Bree says, how can I get you to come force your way through me like they're doing those recess appointments? Well, we've got to adjourn Congress, I think. Bree also says, oh, no, that was the same one. It was just one. Sorry. Zach says, strangle me, daddy. Good start this morning, folks. Good start this morning. Pink Pixie Sue says, love the chat with Bobby last night. He muted me part of RTP cult. He says, yeah, Bobby's a gem. He's doing great, guys. Bobby's doing really well. Bree says, bitch, I really hope you don't have dick cheese. Smegma is a huge no-no. Can I come help you clean yourself up? Just the email address. Very good. I shower sometimes. And then all right, I need you and Sully to come work your fingers to the bone of me. Also, W mods. Jesus Christ. There we go. That's how we got things started today. Yeah, I think that's it. Perfect. Okay. Where was the next one? Okay, here's Ted Cruz. Now, Ted Cruz is the goddamn, he's the worst. Because the thing about Ted Cruz is smart enough to know that what Ted Cruz is saying is a lie. Like, Ted Cruz isn't dumb. Most of us don't like Ted Cruz. Most of us agree that Ted Cruz says dumb things, but like Ted Cruz isn't a dummy. And that's why I think for a lot of us, like, we hate Ted Cruz so much, is because he's not dumb. He is smarter than this, but he chooses to say things because he doesn't respect his audience. To the Republicans in here, like, they don't respect you enough to tell you the truth. And so we're going to have to cut through his bullshit and tell you the truth. But here's him with a sit-down interview with Caitlin Collins. Kudos to Caitlin Collins for keeping it together through all of this. But here's Ted Cruz just lying through his teeth and literally just accusing the Democrats of what he does all the time and will admit that he did.
The advice and consent is part of the Constitution. It's an important role. But at the end of the day, and by the way, when Joe Biden was president, that's the same way Democrats approached it, which is they voted to confirm whoever he put up.
Zero of the people Democrats put up had any accusations of sexual assault. Zero. I can't think of somebody that had, like, nobody from the intelligence agency stood up and said, hey, you should review this person's record. You should go behind closed doors and read the classified information on this person before you make a decision. Like, those things didn't exist on our side. And now it's true It's true the Democrats acted as a party. They did not act necessarily independently. They voted together as a voting bloc and they pushed through the nominations. So Ted Cruz is right about that, but he's leaving out the key difference that like what you didn't like about Democrats was their ideas. What we don't like about these Republicans is their ideas, but they also are abusers, but they're also targets for manipulation. So the baseline stuff, we're right. Like we agree. Like we oppose theirs, they oppose ours, and eventually they get through anyways. But our people don't have sexual assault accusations. None of them. Zero.
Yeah, well, and I know, with that, when we hear some Republicans saying, the president's entitled to his nominees, I've heard some people push back and say, well, we've seen Republicans vote against all of Biden's picks. You voted against everyone except Lloyd Austin.
Yeah, but look, I mean, a lot of Biden's picks, I think, were extreme. You look at someone like Merrick Garland. I think Merrick Garland has been the most partisan and political attorney general the country's ever seen. You look at someone like...
But you voted for him?
Like Alejandro Mayorkas, who opened up the border and caused...
didn't vote for him.
An invasion at our southern border.
Do you see how all of these things are things that they did after they were confirmed? They're not things that people were worried about when confirmed. Like I disagree, obviously, with what Ted Cruz is saying because Ted Cruz is a liar. But again, we're comparing sexual assault allegations with I don't like your politics. Elections have consequences. The president gets to put their nominees in. Half the country is not going to like the nominees. That's not what this is. This is not politics as usual. This is not the same shit we've seen before. This is different. This is a first-time thing. This is we haven't seen this before. This is new. And so you got to ask yourself on the Republican side, like, why are these Republicans lining up to lie about us and pretend that this is normal? That's the question I would ask myself if I was you, Tex. I would ask myself, like, why is Ted Cruz sitting up here not addressing the elephant in the room? The elephant in the room that Greg Kelly's willing to discuss. The elephant in the room that Joni Ernst was willing to money thrown at her, and she was threatened that if she didn't be quiet, that she was going to lose her Senate seat. Do we beg? At this point, like, how do we get you on board with this? How do we get you to understand what's happening right in front of you? You all say, everybody thinks that when fascism comes, that they'll be the ones standing against it. Oh, I love freedom. I love this country. I would never turn it over. And you just don't know. I believe you when you say if you thought the country was fascist, you would stand and fight against it. I'm concerned that you don't recognize what's happening. I'm concerned that we have a lot of people in this country who have been force-fed so much fear and so much bullshit for 9 straight years that they have completely lost touch with what is reality. They've completely lost touch with things that are real and things that aren't real. And that's like I think that we can have that discussion, but that's going to require Republicans to come up, sit down, and have discussions and say, like, I'll challenge my own beliefs. And that's going to require us probably doing the same. Like we've got to challenge our own, but we got to look at what's happening right in front of us. Trump in this tweet here says, "Give us $1 billion. You don't have to play by the rules." That's what this tweet says. Put $1 billion into the economy, and you get different rules. If you are rich, you will play by different rules. By the way, what does this incentivize these companies to do? It incentivizes them to find an American company that already exists, that they can copy, and then they build out a company, and they don't deal with the same red tape that established company had to deal with. Then they come in and they undersell that established company, and that established company goes out of business, and the new company takes over their business and then pays everybody shitty wages. This is not good for anyone. Billionaires don't pay good wages. They don't share the wealth. They hoard wealth. So you're saying, Donald Trump is saying here, hey guys, America is open for business, and we will sell businesses in the United States. We will sell them out. We will decimate their entire industries as long as you come into America and you put in $1 billion. Now, look, Congress can stand in the way of this, which is great, but will they? Will the Republicans in Congress stand in the way? And if they don't, and Donald Trump does this unilaterally, who's going to stop him? If Congress goes along with it, we've already seen the Supreme Court literally said, you can do anything. You're the president. There's no rules for the president. You can break any laws. That's where we're at, right? This is where we're sitting right now. This is reality. We have a president saying, I'm going to ignore the Constitution, and we have a Supreme Court that says he can kind of do what he wants. The only thing standing between Donald Trump and the selling off of our country is Republicans. So we need you guys. We need you guys to stand up for the country. We need you guys to have a little bit of courage. We need you guys to use your own brains, and we need you to stand up for the country, because your folks aren't going to listen to us. But if you give a goddamn about having some freedom, if you give a goddamn about building generational wealth for yourself and for your families, if you give a goddamn about your children's futures, we're gonna need you guys to stand up real soon. Real soon. Where's Drew? Drew, you got to stand up real soon. Tex. Tex sent me and Jen an apology yesterday. I don't know if Jen gets to accept that apology if you want. Tex, show it. Show it. Show that you're willing to stand up for what's right. Show us that you're willing to stand up against Donald Trump. Let's see. Let's see where you're at. Yeah. Listen, Jackie, I think Jen's on board with you. I don't think that's happening. Jen's not. Jen doesn't follow the idea that you have to forgive everyone, and I love Jen for that. All right. Let's see. Where was this one? Wait, where did it go? Hold on. Where is this? I'm sorry, guys. I'm looking for a link that I thought was in here next. I wonder if I... Oh, yeah. All right. So within 24 hours of this tweet going up, or this truth going up from Trump about any person or company investing $1 billion or more in the United States will receive fully expedited approvals. Within 24 hours of that happening, this also happened. Let me pull this up. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. If you can't, I'll read it to you. This is Eric Trump. Incredibly proud to officially launch a project that has been underway for many months. Trump Tower Jeddah. That is in Saudi Arabia. Thank you to our partners at DAR Global. This will be our 5th project together and among the most luxurious buildings anywhere in the world. These are the people that funded 9/11. These are the people that are currently trying to get the world to forget that they funded 9/11, and they are trying to whitewash their history by investing in American companies, in American sports. They own Live Golf. They've just made a massive investment into the PGA Tour, who, by the way, Live Golf, PGA Tour, big Trump supporters. They have invested heavily in the UFC. Dana White, Trump supporter. See what's happening here? Trump's selling out to the Saudis. Remember what the tweet's like. Here's the tweet again. Any person or company. This is not American citizens. This is any person or company. And then this gets announced. This is a quid pro quo. He's telling the Saudis, hey, come on in. Don't worry, we'll cut all your regulatory tape. And in exchange for this, we get to build Trump Tower in Saudi Arabia. But do we not care? Honest to God, like we've got to put this in front of Republicans every single day. Do you really not fucking care? Because in 2016, when we said Trump was building a Trump Tower in Moscow, you guys all believed his lie when he said he wasn't doing it. And then it turned out that he was doing it, and none of you cared. And now he knows he can get away with it. Now he knows that he can sell our country off to our enemies, and none of you will care. You'll just sit back and watch it happen. This is the incoming president doing business deals with people who funded 9/11, foreign adversaries, people who have funded forget just 9/11, they fund terrorism all over the world. He's a sellout. He's a traitor. He's selling you out, Republicans. We're begging you at this point. This is like you're in an abusive relationship. This is like you go home and your spouse beats you up every day, and you show up the next day. We see you the next day, and you're all bruised, and you're like, no, you don't get it. He's got a plan. The plan is happening. He's selling out right in front of you. And by the way, they're going to run J.D. Vance next, and J.D. Vance is a patsy to these exact same people. And what are they talking about? They're talking about removing the Consumer Protection Bureau. They're talking about removing protections that you and I have against suing these companies. They're talking about taking away the protections for workers, unionizing. I'm devastated. It's so obvious. I mean, don't blame. What do you mean don't blame I'm not blaming DV victims, Sarah. I'm not blaming DV victims. I'm saying, like, this is an analogy. That's not blaming. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I get it. I'm trying to put them in this position. In that position, if you're abused and you come back and you lie about it every day, like the cycle of abuse continues, right? This isn't a blame thing. But that's what this is. This is a cycle of abuse by this president. And he's got a whole group of people behind him who are just willing to allow the country to be sold out. While by the way, they sit there and they talk about freedom. They talk about America. They talk about free markets. There's nothing free market about any of this. This is crony capitalism. You guys are supposed to hate crony capitalism. You're supposed to be against this with us. This is something we're all supposed to agree on. Then this is announced. It's not just us. It's not just us that is given into the Saudis. Saudi Arabia just got the 2034 World Cup. Remember Jamal Khashoggi? Remember Jamal Khashoggi and what the Saudis did with Jamal Khashoggi? Somebody who was reporting on the Saudi royal family. They lured him into the embassy. They took his body apart in pieces and snuck his body out the back door while his fiancée sat and waited in the car for hours, assuming her fiancé would come out, and he never did. And the Saudi government knew and planned it and lied about it, and Trump lied for them. That's who he's doing business. Why are we even doing business with them at all? Just with that, why are they doing business? Why is our president doing business deals with people like this? Let's see. Swish says Trump selling America off for parts. Fuck MAGA. Yeah. Whatever. Like, look, admit you're wrong at some point, or see the country just be sold out. You think this is good for you? If you're not a billionaire, this is bad for you. Bree says, my ears perked up when you said you're trying to put them in that position. What positions are you putting me in? The corner. You're in the timeout. Bree says, Koenig said, strangle me, daddy. Yeah, gonna need you to come and strangle both of us. Crush our windpipes, please. God, that's violent. Cameron says, splish splash, now you're taking a bath. It's a rainy day in Arizona for Jay. It's sunny. Well, it is a little cloudy. We may get some rain. Bree says, fascism is coming. Call me fascism then, daddy. To answer Mitri's question, it's me. My button is more sensitive. You see, he gave a demo of that mic sensitivity, and it doesn't compare to me. All right. Terrific. Back to billionaires selling out. Here's a weird thing with Elon Musk. Like, if I didn't know better, I would swear that Elon Musk is like trying to sneak universal health care into the discussion. This was posted. He said nothing would do more to improve the health, lifespan, and quality of life for Americans than making GLP inhibitors super low cost to the public. Nothing else is even close. I don't know who Gail is. Gail says Elon Musk is correct. 40% of Americans suffer from obesity. 9% have a BMI over 40. Super dangerous for our health as a nation. This needs to be fixed. Yeah, or free. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the medical implications of GLP, so I'm not speaking to whether or not this is a good idea. I don't know anything about that, but I will point out that they are correctly identifying that there are health problems in this country that people can't afford to fix. And saying, like, we need to make healthcare more affordable means universal healthcare. It's the only way we can make it more affordable, where we can collectively bargain. I think Elon Musk might be backdooring some universal health care for us, and I think we should capitalize on that because we can retake the House and the Senate in 2026, 2028, retake the White House, and then maybe we get universal health care, which is what we want, right? Like, we want to do things for the American people. Does anybody care who's president in 2028 on our side? Like, let's say we win in 2028. Do any of you care? As long as we get universal health care, nobody cares. RFK should advocate for universal health care, but he can't because he did it first, and Republicans weren't on his side. And then when he changed his position, he changed from universal health care to there should be a private, like it should be private. All of a sudden, the Republicans were on board with him. I predict this will shove us further progressive. I think so too. But then Elon, it gives us that moment of hope, and he goes right back to just being Elon here. I guess it is easy that they show me all of his tweets over and over. This is from Jeremy Kaufman. Says the San Francisco Chronicle covered what happens when you just give the homeless housing. They live in squalor, they fight and unalive each other. Elon says one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. In most cases, the word homeless is a lie. It's usually a propaganda word for violent drug addicts with severe mental illness. No, it means you don't have a home. It has a clear definition. There is a clear definition of what it means. Like it's always 4D chess with these people. It's always like, here's what people are saying, but because that's not crazy enough, I'm going to give you an alternate definition of what they're really saying, like Elon Musk knows. But let me just read you these examples that they have here. Like, you tell me. It sounds an awful lot to me from what Elon Musk is saying that he just wants to eliminate people who are homeless. Not eliminate homelessness, but eliminate people who are homeless. That's what it seems like. Because read this. For 2 years, this has been Pauline Levinson's home, a rundown century-old hotel in Tenderloin where a rodent infestation became so severe that she pitched a tent inside her room to keep the mice away, where residents have threatened each other with weapons, I'm just going to say that, sometimes drawing police to the building several times a day, where since 2020, at least 9 people have unalived of ODs. One man was discovered only after a foul stench seeped from his room into the hall. They're in a rat-infested, abandoned hotel. Yeah, like, how do you think it's going to go there? How do you think it? They're like, look, we gave them housing, and look what happened. They just go after each other. It's a rat-infested, abandoned hotel. Look at this. Here's a picture. Sorry, here's a picture. This is Anthony Alexander. This is his room. Does that look like a place where people are happy and healthy and free? Probably not. Somebody else's room. I don't see a name there. Residents have threatened to unalive staff members, chase them with metal pipes, and lit fires inside rooms. Incident reports show at the Henry Hotel on 6th Street, a tenant was hospitalized after a neighbor for a second time streamed bug spray into their eyes. Public records show last May, less than a mile away at the Winton Hotel, a resident. I'm not going to read that because I'm a little worried about getting in trouble. But I just like these are unlivable conditions. This is what they have done with the unhoused population in San Francisco. And Elon's like, yeah, it's actually not a problem. It's just that these people are the problem. I mean, look, if I was in that situation, if all of us were in that situation, I can understand being angry. I can understand being protective. I can understand resorting to violence. I could understand abusing substances. We're literally just doing class warfare now. Like the oligarchs are in charge, the billionaires are in charge, and Republicans, you're just along for the ride. We demonize immigrants, we're demonizing the unhoused, we're demonizing poor people. it's like all of a sudden the billionaires are the heroes in your book. I think that's wild. I really think that that's wild. Let's see. I'll cover that in a minute. Yeah, here's another example of of just absurdity. And like this is just partisanship. That's what this is. This is we're the good guys, you're the bad guys. This is I forget what's this guy? I don't remember this guy's name on CNN. Did I write his name down? No. We have two cases. Obviously, we have Luigi, and I've got the real manifesto today. The one we read yesterday was not real. Apparently, the one I've got today is real. But we have Luigi, and then we have the Daniel Penny case. And I just want you to hear how Republicans are framing this.
Let me just help you understand. If you're on the American left tonight, here's my chart. The good guys today, Daniel Penny. The bad guys, Luigi Mangione. It seems to me.
How do you?
Everybody
what's
on the
the
left,
chart for victims?
I'm just telling you what I see out in the world.
I know.
What
I just want you
see
to
out in
finish
the world
the
today.
chart. Which victim is good and which
Scott Jennings, thank you.
What I'm telling you is
that's not on the second page.
People on the left can't
Scott,
seem to tell the difference between the good guys and the
about
bad guys.
people on the left. I'm asking you
it's
whether
crazy.
you consider this person.
We have people praising
I want
Luigi
to know
and
whether
attacking
you
Penny.
think that,
one is good,
as
one
Congressman Crane does, that Daniel.
Let me just help you understand.
Daniel Penny is not a good guy. Whoa, what's going on? Whoa, all of a sudden those just ran. Daniel Penny is not a good. Daniel Penny is the person who he was on the subway. There was a man suffering a mental health breakdown who was making verbal threats. Daniel Penny subdued him, put him in a chokehold, held the chokehold for like 5 minutes, and just help me with the victim's name again, real quick. Can somebody help me with that? It's a little embarrassing that I forgot that, but somebody help me with the name. Jordan Neely. Thank you so much. That was embarrassing. Jordan Neely. And Jordan Neely was unalived after putting in a chokehold. Now, Daniel Penny was not. He was acquitted on all charges. But Daniel Penny's not a good person. I saw Kyle Rittenhouse like jumped up and was like, "Yeah, I know how it feels, Daniel Penny." Kyle Rittenhouse isn't a good person either. These are cowards. These are terrified, insecure dudes who, when they are threatened, they use violence to fight back. They don't use their words. They don't try and mitigate anything. They just use the most violent means possible to fight back. And then when it goes to court, because we have things like stand your ground, or because we have things like self-defense, and it's kind of hard in both of these scenarios to say that their lives weren't in danger, because certainly there were verbal threats with Daniel Penny, verbal threats with Rittenhouse, as well as people chasing him. But again, that doesn't make them good people. Just because they were acquitted doesn't mean what they did was right, and it doesn't make them good people. These are small men who use physical violence to solve problems, and people die. People die. Daniel Penny is not a good person. Daniel Penny should not be celebrated. Daniel Penny is a coward. Kyle Rittenhouse is a coward. And we can argue whether or not, like, the justice system got it right. I would say that at the very least it exposes that we've got some problems in our justice system. It's very easy to unalive somebody and get away with it. Like, words can be violence now. Just words can be enough violence for you to lose your life. And we have to worry about our friends who are out in public who might have a mental health episode, and they might be desperately crying for help, or they might desperately need attention from a medical professional, and instead somebody like Jordan Neely takes matters into their own hands and ends somebody's life. This shouldn't be celebrated. Luigi, I don't think should be celebrated either. I don't think any of this I'll say it. I think Luigi, also a coward, also somebody who chose violence when they didn't need to. I understand the sentiment for all of these. Yeah, I mean, you can say nah all you want. You can say nah all you want about Luigi, but What are we? What are we, an eye for an eye now in this country? Is that what we're doing? Is this just the Wild West? It's not the fucking Wild West. You don't want this. For those of us on the left, like, you don't want this. We don't want to go down this road. We do. Like, I appreciate what has been brought to the attention. I think healthcare has been brought to attention, and I think history may show that it was this that brought healthcare to the forefront. But again, violence isn't the answer. I don't know when it's ever worked. I think people feel helpless. I can understand. And in fact, if I was, if I might have a totally different opinion if it had been my parents who had lost their life because a health insurance company didn't pay and they didn't get the care they needed and they lost their life. I likely would have a different opinion on that. But I don't think that being in an emotional state makes your opinion better. And I ultimately don't think that that violence is ever the answer. I think if we're going to be consistent on that, if we're going to say we don't approve of the violence on January 6th, we don't approve of the violence in Charlottesville, we can't then be like, oh, well, we're justified in violence because of our views, even if we are right. Just because you're right doesn't mean you're justified in violence. And I think we've got to be really careful about going down this road. Especially given the other side of the aisle that is heavily armed and already has shown a proclivity to be willing to act violently in mass. I think we got to be real careful about that. No good trouble. No, lots of good trouble, by the way. Like, if these CEOs couldn't go anywhere without being heckled, good. That's good trouble. That's a good use of our time. If people flooded their phone lines with complaints, good. If companies withdrew from United Healthcare, good. If more collectives happened, good. Like, there's a lot of stuff we can do. There's a lot of ways you can hurt these healthcare companies without physically harming them. There are other ways to send a message. I don't know if we've been doing that. Well, look, Nicole, you don't have to be with, but if you're not with me on this, Nicole, you're saying that vigilante justice should be the law of the land. And how do you rein that back in? What are you going to do when this vigilante justice means that some guy from Alabama goes to Planned Parenthood and goes after the manager at Planned Parenthood or the CEO of Planned Parenthood? Would you hold that same value? Like, would then you be like, oh no, it's a problem? What if it's somebody who they didn't want the woman to have an abortion and they went and they attacked, right? Again, we're right. I think that our opinion is right. I think that it is more just, but I don't think you want to go down this road. I certainly don't. I'm not interested in retaliation. I'm not interested in violence on the streets. I'd like to do it a different way. What do you mean that? Of a bitch. Nobody that we need on our side is going to be nobody that's on the opposite side, excuse me, is going to agree with this. Nobody is. It's going to push us further away from our goal. If we sit up and celebrate violence and advocate for violence, I don't think our end goal is met quicker. I think it takes longer. Yeah, look, and yeah, I'm good with that, right? Easy peasy. If you say I don't feel bad for him, I think that's different. I understand that that's a person with blood on their hands. Like actual blood on their hands, and more than one. That was one life, and the amount of people who are left in the wake outnumber it, 1,000,000 to 1. I'm fine with that. I don't think you have to have empathy for these CEOs, but to wish death upon them and to say like we need to be violent, I just don't think you want to go down that road. Yeah. Hypocritical if you're against the death penalty and cheer this. Look, I don't think it should be crazy to say we don't want violence. I don't think that's a crazy take to say that we don't take justice into our own hands. I don't think that's a crazy take. Jen, did you need to come up, or were you just come up because I was muted? Sorry, I didn't see that. What's up, Drew?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
I'm only gonna be quick. I'm gonna be quick today.
Okay, well, hold
I
on real
agree with
drew.
you.
Jen's gonna go first.
Oh, I'm here. I saw
I'm sorry. Go
Drew
ahead,
in
Jen.
request, so I figured I'd hop in before he came up. I think people with this real quick, with the whole thing, it's having. I don't have sympathy necessarily for the CEO. He's not he authorized things that shouldn't have happened. That's wrong. But to necessarily say people should be unalived intentionally, I think that's not the goal. I mean, but I have sympathy for his family. People like that are those are people that are hurting that shouldn't be with the situation, and that's for anyone who's gone through a passing of someone suddenly tragically. These people in their family are going to be hurting for years. For me personally, I have something that happened 11 years ago that still stings. So I mean, that's I don't feel bad for him. It's what it is, but I can have sympathy for his family.
Thank you, Jen. I agree.
But real quick, so Drew's just going to be up here. We've got a gift goal. I don't know if you've read messages recently. Maybe check those
A couple
before
minutes
you
ago.
guys
There's a couple waiting. Yeah.
And then if you'd like an invite to the Discord, send any moderator message, and we'll get you an invite. And if you haven't subscribed to us over on YouTube, please do so.
Thank you, Jen. All right, Drew. What's up?
Yeah, I just wanted to come up and do the unusual thing and agree with you exactly, completely. In fact, I had a debate with a friend of mine that everybody here would hate, by the way, because he's like MAGA guy. He doesn't not like he's not wearing hats and stuff like that, but his views are very much that way.
But the hat, but he presents the hat with his personality. Got it.
He doesn't with exactly.
Okay.
Well, with his ideology. So he was, he called me up all pissed off about, liberals are okay with this guy, being unalived and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, is it that they're okay with it, or is that they're apathetic towards it? He didn't know what apathetic meant. So I had to explain to him. But and then he attacked me. He's like, no, it doesn't matter. You don't do that. Blah blah blah. No matter. I go. I know. I said, of course you don't do that. Vigilante justice is never justified. But the idea of being apathetic towards somebody that made a living off of increasing profits for denying people that could have possibly been unalived, there's room to be apathetic there. There's no reason to And then what about the unnamed people that were the victims of that? We don't ever talk about them. They don't get any empathy or apathy. They're just forgotten about.
Yeah.
And it was, he just he held his ground there, and he didn't want to hear it. So I said, look, and he's a former police officer, which is, again, another strike for you guys.
Yeah. ACAB. That's right.
And I've had plenty of fights with him over that, by the way, too. So finally, I'm like, what if the police department was privatized and they charge per arrest? How do you think that would work out? What if the fire department was privatized and they charge per fire? How do you think that would work out overall? I said it's the same thing with the medical field. I said this medical insurance is just outdated. There's no need for it, and it shouldn't be a for-profit thing. It just shouldn't, like the fire department, like the police department, like any other service, right?
Yeah.
I said, and then I used it. I felt good because outside of debating with you, I'm pretty good at debating when I can.
No, it's easy against
MAGA.
MAGA. It's easy against MAGA. It's way easier.
No, I'm like, it was okay to kill to unalive witches at one point in this country. It doesn't make it, it doesn't make it right now to do that. As I said, with these, with medical insurance, it's just something that just we need to get past.
Well, this is
and he just stuck to his guns about but it's not okay if you justify this. I'm like, I'm not justifying it. I'm just not feeling bad for the guy. That's it.
Yeah, I think this is one of those issues where legitimately there is far more cross-party support for universal health care than people think. And if we instead of using this moment, which somebody in the chat said, I'm sorry, but this brought attention, so I'm for it. Like, I kind of get that. But the attention on healthcare right now, if we don't take that attention and do something to fix the problem, and instead spend all of our time celebrating Luigi and celebrating violence, then the actual thing that we want to fix, the healthcare, that will go by the wayside, and this will turn into a political fight, and everybody on the left will be labeled as schmerrists, and everybody on the right will feel like they had a moral victory, and will never discuss universal health care. So I agree with the people who say, like, this brought awareness. I agree, but and I don't like how it brought awareness, but we should still capitalize on the awareness and reach across the aisle and say, look, this needs to get done. Like,
Right.
it's so bad. It's so bad that, like, a kid from a wealthy family who had his whole life in front of him, who had a great education, who had a great job, decided that this was so fucked that he was going to take matters into his own hands. Like, we need to address that. And
Right.
and I think we raise awareness. So you keep working on MAGA and send them to my live.
And look, and you're right. This could be like a complete loss for the cause on the left by doing exactly that, by getting to the point where this is what has to get done. We need to do this. That again, that'll further perpetuate the argument on the right that you guys are being schmerrists and but the fact that this is coming out, and if you use this talking point properly, I mean, it just brings awareness to something that should be obvious, and it was always obvious to me. I mean, maybe because I always paid for my own health insurance because I always worked for myself for the most part. So, like, it was always an issue of mine because, like, I was paying these ridiculous prices and getting denied claims and having to call to get them appealed and all that other bullshit. But yeah, this is something that, like, if done wrong, will really be a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I agree with you. I appreciate that, man.
I figured I'd get a little, get some kudos in the chat for actually advocating for a policy that you guys, that we agree on.
I don't know how many people are willing to give you that, but a few did. So you got a few.
Okay, enough, Andrew.
Be well.
Yeah, that's it. All right, listen, continue doing your thing.
I did.
I just wanted to come up and say that.
Yeah, be well. Bye. Look, I'm going to open this up to people who, again, this is opposition. So if you are opposition the other way, even if we're on the same side politically, you're welcome to stay in the box. I see Jenny, Mass Tort, Girl, Sven, Grammar Hole, Hollow Rhino. I'm sure some of you accidentally clicked in the box. So if you just heard your name and you don't want to be a guest, pop out of the box. And if you do want to be a guest, then stay in the chat, or stay in the guest request. Again, it's Hollow Rhino, Jenny Sun, Mass Tort Chat, Girl Sven, and Honey. While we're clearing that up, let me read some messages. Look, and please disagree with me, even on our side too. Like, we've got to have this discussion, and it's not going to be a comfortable discussion, but we've got to have it. Let's see. Neely, text said, Neely was a career-long violent criminal. Don't care. I don't think that he needed to die. I don't care how many crimes we had there. Again, vigilante justice, I'm never going to be on board with. I think I'm pretty consistent on that. You guys are not consistent on that. Tex, I would just say, if that's your view, then I think you should probably be okay with what Luigi did, because they've been these healthcare companies have been causing the death of people for decades now. Tex also said if Brian was black, they wouldn't be celebrating. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why you're bringing race into this. Like, why is it always identity politics with you guys? Why is it like, why don't we just address reality of what's happening? Toby says, copays and deductibles. Whoopsies. I mean, thoughts and prayers. Hi, Daddy Hat Boy. Hey, Toby. Cameron says, we on the left cannot condone violence or those who perpetuate it or perpetrate it. Full stop. Violence is not the answer. Only when you're hitting it from the back. I like how you slipped that in there. Bree says, I need a good refresh. Please whisper Good girl. To me again. Thank you, Bree. It's weird going back and forth from this conversation to the comments. The only reason that you'd put me in the corner is to pin me against the wall and blow through this hole. Peep the double entendre. No, I'm putting you in the corner because you need a cold shower. Jackie says, "Why did the snowman suddenly smile? He saw the snowblower coming." That's a good clean Christmas joke. Okay, I think I got all those. All right, let's check the box. What did I rude? Sorry. Let's go with Hollow Rhino. Welcome.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
Good.
I've been really struggling with this and trying to come to a conclusion.
Yeah.
Oh, let me get on Wi-Fi.
Oh, we lost you.
I'm hopping on Wi-Fi here.
Oh, it's better now.
Cool. I think, as sort of like regular American people who are subject to the systems that are in place, we have limited power to control the systems that are in place. The three angles that I've identified and how we can control it are collective bargaining, the legal system, and violence.
Yeah.
And I listen to you all the time, and I think that you would agree that the legal system is both weak in our favor and also built in favor of property owners and probably corporations.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that? Okay.
Yeah.
So that kind of leaves collective bargaining.
Yeah.
Collective bargaining for whatever you want to call us, the proletariat, or I don't know, is, our real collective bargaining is government.
Yeah.
Even though we collective bargain against the government, it also is our collective bargaining power against the private sector.
Yeah.
Our government is now feckless for us. Our government has absolutely no desire to bargain on our behalf. They want to use us as a commodity, seemingly. I mean, the new administration is not in power yet. We have not handed the reins over to whatever you want to call the GOP these days.
Yeah.
But seemingly that's what's going on. So that leaves violence. I really don't ever want to condone violence. But I think it would be foolish to skip over the fact that the threat of violence is a tool.
Mm-hmm.
And the threat of violence is a tool that we use every day as a country. And the threat of violence is a tool that we use every day through the police, through the legal system, through our military, and it's effective. Why can't the threat of violence be effective for the powerless?
Yeah, I think I think it's very effective.
So this is, I guess, the struggle.
But is it right? Like, is it right?
Well,
that's the question. What if it?
Right
What if
under-
it doesn't?
under what
like
morality?
Like, what if it doesn't do anything? What if it doesn't do anything? And what if you lose your ability? Like, I agree with you when it comes to collective bargaining in the near future. Like, I think that we are going to struggle to get this administration to do anything. But I think that this issue, and it has been brought to light and it has been given more attention. But like, what if we had kind of like what they did with Judge Kavanaugh? What if no matter where these health care CEOs went, there were people picketing and yelling and shouting and holding up signs? What if we took the, what did the DNC spend? $1.5 billion on this election. What if we took those some of those people who aren't owned by lobbyists and we ran ads? I'm just saying that, like, I think what you're saying is correct, but I think you are saying the government is feckless. We have to abandon them and go to violence. And I just think that there's other ways to do it. I think there's other ways you can apply pressure without violence. Now, let me say this: if you apply pressure long enough and nothing's getting done and the will of the people isn't being done, then you revolt. But you don't. But the revolt doesn't happen against the CEO. The revolt happens against the government.
I would have a lot of trouble being able to separate private healthcare from government at this point.
What do you mean?
Private healthcare can't exist without the government's complete capitulation to it.
Sure.
So,
and it also goes away the second we collectively bargain.
Sure. We're going to have 4 years of administration led by someone who wanted to use pew-pews against protesters.
Do you think do you think Trump is opposed to universal health care? Because I don't think he is.
I think Donald Trump is opposed to the backlash from the billionaire class for trying to implement universal health care.
But which backlash? Like this is why I just think like messaging, and I do think we really do have a chance. If I want to go to Elon, let's say I want to go to Mark Zuckerberg, and we're worried about billionaires backlash, I'm going to go to Mark Zuckerberg and I'm going to say, here's what you're paying for healthcare now. Here's what you will pay after that. And by the way, your employees will no longer have co-pays, and your employees will no longer have deductibles. So your employees are also going to be happier. You won't have to worry about another company coming in and offering better benefits and stealing your employees. Right now, this is a way for people to recruit, and it's a drag on business. I think you can go to the oil CEOs. I think you can go to places like Walmart. I think you can go to people. I mean, I think the Waltons would love universal health care. It would cost them nothing. It would probably save them money.
If Republicans were for universal health care, and it's as popular as you and I probably both believe it is, why wouldn't they win elections running on it?
I think right now is the most popular it's ever been. Literally, like right now, this moment in time is the most popular it's ever been, and that's why I think you have to capitalize on it. Again, like I don't condone what happened, but I do recognize that it brought, like I think we can both probably agree that what Luigi has done as far as raising awareness is effective. But what I don't want to, what I don't think then should be done is that all of a sudden we go on a massive violent streak, and I don't think that we should be applauding what was done. But I still think you capitalize off of it. I still think you should take this messaging, and this is one that just works across aisles. I think this is one of those times. Small businesses, large businesses, self-employed people, everybody benefits from this. And I think that if you, like in Arizona, you could probably get it done. In Pennsylvania, in the blue wall that we just lost, I think this is a winning message. Those same exact people that voted for Trump, that came out and cared about the economy, those same people are hurting. I actually think it's a winning message across the board, and I think that Trump wouldn't really fight. I really don't think there's that much pushback against it with Trump. Like the people that are controlling Trump aren't mostly pharmaceutical companies. Plus, you have RFK in there. You have a whole group of like crunchy granola moms who want to take everything out of food, and they're the Maha group. I think that this is one of those opportunities.
How much lobbying money we could look it up, but like, how much lobbying money do we think is being spent from healthcare companies to politicians right now?
Looking just at like insurance?
Sure. And pharmaceutical companies. Or I guess we could just stick to insurance and like, I don't know, hospitals or healthcare. But like, it's got to be billions of dollars, right?
Let's see. Health services, HMOs, 89 million. Yeah, I mean the biggest amount of money, it's not even close. Like 300 million is spent by pharmaceutical companies. Next, it's hospitals and nursing homes, and then it's health services, which and HMOs. So yeah, I mean it's third on the list, but it's pharmaceuticals spend more than 3x on lobbying.
Like I think I agree with you that this specific subject being with the possibility of universal health care, like there are ways to not unalive a CEO and get shit done. I'm not so sure that we could come up with a better example where, like, and like I agree with you in a sense, but
Well, I think what you're saying is like I think what we're dancing around maybe here is that usually it takes something catastrophic for, especially in this country, to make substantive change, and this is catastrophic. And I don't have to agree with what happened to say like this should promote change. I just wanted to. I don't want to be I don't want to be part of a group that celebrates cold-blooded murder. I just don't want to be part of that group, and I don't
yeah,
think I don't think
either.
it's useful for us to spread that message, even for the like. I think a lot of people, I think most Americans are indifferent to this. I don't see anybody on the right really coming out and defending the CEO. Mostly, what I see is people on the right defaming the left for the left celebrating this, and that closes some doors for us. That closes some doors to have some conversations. And ultimately, if the goal is to get universal health care and stop people dying needlessly, then sometimes we have to swallow our pride. We have to and we have to do what's best. If we need Republicans in order to pass this.
I think that we are all overlooking the reality that I think almost all of us are indifferent to murder, to unaliving. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's true.
I mean, how many actuaries are hired by Blue Cross Blue Shield to tell you the actual value of a human life, whether to save it or not?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, we spend hundreds of billions of dollars to go into other countries and unalive people. And that's somehow justified. The whole conversation really is this justified? Not is it, schmurder? Not is it, should it be a crime? It's beyond. It's about ethics and morality. And even if you don't have ethics or morality, what is a justified unaliving of someone that's not yourself?
But I don't think that's the conversation. Like, I think that's maybe the conversation that should be had, and I think that's maybe the intention of some people who see it a little bit differently. But it's not the conversation that is being had. It's not the conversation that publicly is being had. Because what happens is when people go on social media or when people go on a news program, it's in bits, and so there's no nuance to it. And so when people just come out and they're like, W Luigi or whatever, like that's going to rub some people the wrong way. And if nobody's coming out and saying like, I don't condone violence, but what Luigi did raised awareness. Here's what we need to raise awareness for. Like that's the move. That's the way that you affect change. I think that potentially being more violent turns the healthcare companies from the perpetrators to the martyrs, because then they're under attack. Yeah, I mean, if you're an employee at a healthcare company today, you probably feel under attack. You probably feel unsafe, and now you're incentivized to stand with your healthcare company rather than the people because they're threatening violence against you.
Yeah, I think a lot of people work in positions where the actual company that they work for promotes or basically is damaging or ineffective or evil, and people's positions are so far removed from the actual damage that's done, it's watered down, that they recognize it, but it doesn't affect them enough because they are also under they have to make money too. Like we all have to make money. So that's just capitalism. But I think what we're seeing is like capitalism doesn't care about unaliving.
Sure.
So you're right. I don't want to promote an individual unaliving another individual for any cause. But I also live in a country and pay taxes to a country that potentially unalived civil rights leaders.
Yeah.
Like,
Not
there's no ethical consumption in capitalism.
I agree with that. You and I are both talking.
Why are we trying to be ethical? I guess my point
I'm
is
not.
like,
I'm trying to be effective. I'm not arguing ethics. I'm trying to be
yeah.
effective. If you like, just from what is best for all of us. What's best for all of us is that we get universal health care. What's the most effective way to get that? I don't think it's going to be violence. I think that's going to turn the wrong people into martyrs.
I think the reality. I'll end here.
Sure.
Because I agree with most of, I think we agree on a lot of things, but I also I'm coming to conclusions, and a conclusion that I think I'm coming to is that the reality is this was maybe the most effective way to bring this to the forefront of media and politics, and put it on the table in front of people that actually can make changes.
Look, I don't disagree with you on that. But I think sometimes that logic is the very same thing that is used to defend like crony capitalism. Like when we defend the fact that we use electronics right now, that some of the stuff that is mined for these electronics is essentially slave labor, child labor, and we're just like, well, it's like we've been able to make a lot of progress, so we overlook it. I agree with you. I don't disagree that it was the most effective way. I don't want to see that keep going. I think the message has been sent. I don't condone how it was sent, but it happened. And so what we do from here is we let the justice system take care of this trial, and we focus on actually making the change. Even for him, don't you think like that was the plan, is to put this in the spotlight and get things to change? And I think sometimes we're so sick of Donald Trump, we're so sick of Republicans, we're so sick of watching them ignore the law that it's like, well, fuck it, then we're going to do it too. And I understand that feeling, but I don't think ignoring the law, breaking the law at this point would change it.
And just to give a little bit of fairness, also Democrats.
Yeah.
How many Democrats are sitting on their hands today
Most.
that are in power?
Yeah, most. Yeah.
And so you're right. Like, what is the next step? What do we do that's as effective or almost as effective as that's nonviolent?
Yeah, so you've got to create a movement, and you have to create a movement of people who are going to take L after L after L after L after L and come back tomorrow and do the same shit again. It's going to require people not letting America forget that this is a real problem. I think maybe we want it to be fixed overnight, because for a lot of us, we're like, okay, do you see it now? And most Americans are like, no, we still don't see it. We're not even looking for it. So like it's going to take time, it's going to take effort, and it's going to take people being relentless. But if we truly are a group of people who are looking at this at the healthcare industry and saying this is abhorrent, it should not continue, there are lives being lost here, then how can we also be people that are like, well, we just give up and we're doing violence? Like, how many people in this room that are saying we should just do violence? How many of you have been openly like spending your free time out lobbying, out talking to people, out writing letters to your representatives, creating social media stuff, like creating a network of people who can get messaging across? Probably almost none. Probably a very few. Nicole, raise her hand. Very few.
But it's because people don't have time, because their time is tied up making money to survive.
Bro, everybody in here sits here for hours at a time on TikTok.
I understand.
We've got plenty of time.
Stephen Miller doesn't want universal health care because it would allow people time. Stephen Miller doesn't want people to work telework.
I agree.
Because it gives them extra time. When people have time, they can organize. This administration, look, I don't know what Trump thinks. I know you think he's an absolute idiot.
Yeah.
I think that the people around him are incredibly intelligent and evil.
Yeah.
And I think that those people will do anything that they can to throw obstacles in our way from even communicating with each other. Look, this.
Okay, so if we go after healthcare CEOs, how does any of that change? You know what it allows them the moral high ground.
There's no moral high ground doesn't exist anymore.
It does in the general public though. It might not to you and I. It might not exist to those of us who consume politics on a daily basis, but for the general public who does not consume politics, who knows nothing about this, what they see is a father who was unalived, and they see people celebrating it, and that's literally all they know. And I think one of our biggest mistakes on the left is that we expect people to have the same understanding and the same baseline as we have, and therefore, like, that their reactions should mirror what we know. And it's so fucking frustrating. It's so fucking frustrating to spend your time understanding this stuff, seeing the problems in the system, seeing how it's harming people, and knowing that the general public isn't going to do a goddamn thing about it because they do not care. Like you said, we're desensitized to schmurder. If this had not been a millionaire, like, we probably wouldn't have even really heard about it. It would have been a one-day news cycle. So I'm just saying that if we're going to publicly message, then we need to publicly message to the people that we need to help us put pressure. And that message to them needs to be, hey, there's people dying. You know how you care about this CEO? There's other people dying, and we're with you. We don't want to take out CEOs, but we've got to do something about these other people dying, or else this violence will continue. Because there's going to be copycats. I would imagine we see. I'd imagine we see more violence. I'm just saying that for us, messaging, we need to be able to stand with the general public who is going to view this in the same way. And we need to make the messaging so that they'll be with us. Like, we got to swallow our pride a little bit here. Yeah, we've done the work. Yeah, we know it's wrong. No, most of the country doesn't know it. And so we can either say, like, oh, the rest of the country needs to capitulate to how we see it, or we can figure out how to message so at least we get what we want. Who cares if they understand it? If we get what we want, great.
Yeah, you brought up a really good point. I personally have a blind spot in, like, what other people don't know versus what I know because I pay attention.
Yeah.
And I think that, that was an issue obviously going into the election too with a lot of people.
Well, how fucking shocking was that election? Yeah. We were like, what? This doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Well, there's a disconnect.
I think, the conversation that you and I just had I don't think it was about messaging. And I think the conversation about messaging is a different one. And I probably agree with you on a lot of that messaging too.
I was taking it from a messaging standpoint most of the way. So maybe we were on different pages there.
Yeah. I don't see it as messaging because I don't see it as there's no faction. Like, this isn't a left-right thing. I don't see that I don't see messaging existing from a class war.
That's good. That's good. You don't want this messaging coming from the right or the left. You want people to feel like it should be organic, and I think it is. I think that there's a way to do this organically. Leave the politicians out of it. Let's just do the messaging. Let's not talk left versus right. Like, let's just say there's a huge problem. Yeah, the CEO is gone, and there are millions of people in the wake of these health insurance companies who are making massive profits while people die. I don't think we need to add that in there. I don't think we need to. But we cannot give, like, Ted Cruz. We can't give Ted Cruz the ability to go on his show all the time and be like, look at these crazy leftists. Because even in Ted Cruz's audience, if we weren't saying those things, even in Ted Cruz's audience, there are people who don't have money. There are people whose lives have been upended by these insurance companies. But because of the way that we react sometimes, they're just going to be like, well, I guess there's nothing you can do about it. Guess we'll just keep voting Republican. At least I'm not going to be somebody celebrating the death. Right?
Yeah. I have trouble. Like, we clearly, the left lost the messaging battle for sure. But I think we lost the messaging war. I don't think we can win a message war anymore. I honestly don't think any message that we can bring to the table can't be countered by volume messaging of the other side. Because anytime any good-hearted person who brings a story of somebody who was a victim of the healthcare system and puts it out there, now anyone who is against it, whether it's because they're paid or because they're morally against it, like universal healthcare, can just bring up the idea that the CEO got unalived. Like,
so what's the solution then?
That's why I can only come down to collective bargaining, which is really hard to do, and the threat of violence.
Which one would you rather do? I'd rather do collective bargaining. I think
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
maybe
no.
that's what it boils down to. Maybe it boils down to
Yeah.
I don't want to be violent. Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
maybe
no.
that's what it boils down to.
Whole solution, the only one I can think of is a third party that bridges the gap between the two, that is focused on workers' rights primarily, and also
Yeah,
doesn't.
but until then, I mean that's cool, but that's a pipe dream.
Right.
So what do we do until then?
Threat of violence.
All right. I think maybe we just disagree on that. Yeah, I think maybe we
hate
just
it.
disagree.
And I'm anxiously awaiting an alternative. So I appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Good talking to you.
Thanks.
See ya. All right, I'll bring up the next person. Let me read comments real quick. Sorry about the dogs barking. Kristen says, we hate CEO's lack of humanity. We can't lose ours. I like that. I think that's smart. There we go. I think that was it. Jen, if we do wind up getting super chats, I assume you'll just put them in there. All right. Oh, she's got an order for me. All right. Next up is Honey. Honey, welcome. Maybe. Cap says collective bargaining hasn't worked, and now billionaires are in control. I don't remember us collectively bargaining on healthcare. It hasn't been tried. It's not that it hasn't worked. It actually hasn't been tried. Mastort, you're next. Mastor, welcome. Maybe. Maybe not. Creative.
Wanting to be here, I will take this side of the stress off your plate. You just keep meeting people and showing me the shit, and we'll figure it out and get it done. All right.
Creative, do you know you're on air right now?
Few occasions where he
All right.
doesn't.
Well, it sounded like Creative was giving some good advice there. X Pop-Ups isn't here anymore. Dolas Maru. Dolas Amaru. I'm not even going to try. I don't know how to say that. I apologize. Dolas Samaru.
Evening, Colin.
Hello. Hello, Dolas.
Where is that?
All right. All right. Now we'll just go. Girl Sven, you were here earlier, so we'll do that. Oh, who did I just pick? Oh, I did. Girl Sven, welcome. Thor got muted. What? I didn't know Thor was here. Oh, that's right. We had this on the backup account. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think because of the backup account. Reed. Oh, same idea. Hey, Reed.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm very well indeed. I've really been enjoying this past conversation. I tend to fall somewhere in the middle between you and your guest.
Okay.
I think that there is definitely a place for violence where revolution is concerned, and that is what is required if you're ever going to get universal health care, is a revolution. But I also agree with you that it's maybe not the right place to put the violence on the CEOs, and it should be towards the government. But then we start to sound even more like MAGA.
That's the worst part, when you start to sound the same. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the reason that I actually came up with a special request is that I generally read the chat while I'm visiting your lives, and this method that you have of putting up 8 request boxes at one time completely it obscures the chat, and you can only see one line of chat at a time, and it's ridiculous. How come other lives can manage to do it with discrete requests on the side and the chat remains unobscured?
Because I'm using TikTok Studio, And if you're going to use TikTok Studio in landscape mode, which most of the time I don't have guests, like 80% of my show I don't have guests, maybe 90%, it looks better in this way. But TikTok hasn't fixed where you can change the guest request box from TikTok Studio in landscape mode. Like we put in requests for them to do it. I even saw in their update that they plan on fixing it, but for now this is a TikTok Studio thing. But for me, it just makes more sense because
what is the
most of
principal advantage of using TikTok Studio?
I can use my computer.
Okay.
So I can do like
All right,
I can
well,
screen
I'm
share, I can
probably
play
not-
videos.
I enjoy your content, but if I can't see the chat, it's really not as enjoyable. So I'm hoping you get that fixed because I'd like to come back and watch you another time.
Well, I think if you've been here, I've barely had guests at all. So most of the time you should be able to see the chat.
No, usually when I watch you, you have guests.
No. No. When I mean maybe when you're watching. Like we go days without guests all the time.
Well, I was actually watching more. I've been kind of busy lately, but I was watching more in the run up to the election, and you definitely had guests.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
But yeah, not big on this TikTok Studio thing. Love your content,
Thanks,
and
brother.
thanks for having me out.
Yeah, appreciate it. Have a good one. All right. It was kind of a surprise. Let's see. Who's next? Jen, I did the math. I don't know if you saw that. Jen, do you know who's next? I see Tiff, Dustbuster, Barry, Katrina, Thor, Mr. Purplebee, J.M. Klosky, Betty, and Robin. If any of you just heard your name and you're not waiting to jump in, let me know. What's up, Jen?
Yeah, that's what I was coming up for. There's a bunch. You guys, you need to look in the requests. If even if you don't think you requested, look, because with this layout, if you touch something, it will make you join the request and you don't even realize it. So there's a bunch of you in here. You want to read the.
Did you just drop? That was weird. Middle of the sentence. Lost Jen. Jen, did you know who was next though? Look. No, don't know. All right. Let's go. I think maybe it was Robin. Robin, welcome. How do you know if you want to find out if you're in the box, hit guest request, and it'll say like if you're already in the box, and you can cancel it. Hey, Robin. Robin. All right, that was an accidental one. Thor, what's up? Thor, oh, you are here
Hey,
still.
what's up?
Hey.
What's up, RTP?
Hey, how you doing, man?
It's been a while since I talked to you. Hey, where's Felice?
Do you want to talk about anything else, or is that what you were doing? Just here to troll?
No, I was just wondering where Felice was.
You know where she is.
I haven't seen her in a while. No, I don't. I haven't talked to you guys in a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess you guys.
We don't work together anymore.
Oh, that's terrible.
Sorry about that.
Both of you guys together. You guys were a good duo.
Yeah, but we're just talking about this topic today. Do you have something about this, or?
No, I think that the entire Luigi or the Mario brother guy. I think that he did wrong. He did something incredibly.
Yeah, you're breaking up. Sorry, brother. I thought that was disingenuous, though, because you've actually been here and said that before. Then it was Dusty was next. Dusty, what's up?
Hey, Jay.
Hey.
Yeah, I just started listening when you had that one guest on that, the guy who was weirdly passive aggressive. The guy before that.
That's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, that was weird. I guess I just wanted to say that one thing that I do enjoy about like what's happening right now. I shouldn't say enjoy. Like one thing that I guess that I think is good is that we're not assigning if he was Republican or Democrat, the alleged shooter.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, I think during the election time that would have been something that both sides would have tried to do. Would
Well,
have been to assign him
Ted Cruz
to a
did.
side.
Your side has been doing it. Just to be clear, multiple
Well,
senators
they
have
should.
pointed out that he went to an Ivy League school and was radicalized by woke propaganda. So I do think that's happening. And specifically, I think I have the tweet
Okay, well,
of Ted Cruz doing it. Yeah.
I haven't seen that as much, so maybe when I continue to see stuff, maybe I'll see that. But I did see one media outlet just call him more like central independent, but
Well, he's confusing because he has these views, but then he's also like a fan of Elon Musk. He's said kind things about Tucker Carlson, about Peter Thiel. He's kind of a confusing guy.
yeah, what confuses me is like his background and like how all of a sudden he's arrested with like all the evidence on him, and now his lawyer is saying that they don't have any evidence that they've presented to him yet.
Well, what is lawyer
super
saying? So he
confusing.
was arrested in Pennsylvania and he was charged for specific crimes in Pennsylvania. And the crimes for the schmurder are from New York. And obviously, because he had just been arrested and detained, he doesn't have that information from New York yet. So that I watched he did 2 press conferences yesterday, and that's basically what he said. He said, I don't have any charges from New York. So until New York gets those charges to him, I don't think he'll discuss any of that.
Yeah, I just think I don't know. It's crazy how the healthcare system is and the way that our economy is right now. Not necessarily inflation, but just the wealth gap. I think is going to put pressure on the lower middle and lower class to a point where I don't know what's going to happen, but I really hope that maybe before more violence happens that maybe somebody can come up with a solution where people get better care.
Are you concerned about like what you're seeing coming out of this administration in regards to the economy and healthcare?
Well, I see a lot of things so I'm concerned about healthcare with this administration for sure. I don't think that it's in their sights to fix it because they don't ever talk about it. They kind of ignore it, which concerns me because it's like one of the problems now because Trump ran on all the things that the American people were like complaining about. That's why he was successful. Like, oh, I can't afford groceries, right? All this stuff, I can't afford it. In healthcare, people were talking about it, but it wasn't really a main topic point. And now that this has been put into the light, I'm interested to see what he'll do with it, if he'll make an announcement. I know he's not the president right now, but I am concerned about the Republicans. Like they're so focused on profit, which I think in a free market is good. I know me and you have differing opinions about this. I think
That's the
always
goal
good.
of capitalism, right? Is
Right.
profits. It's just not what the goal of the government should be.
Yeah, and healthcare really isn't part of the free market though, because like if you think about it as the consumer, you don't really walk in and it's not like buying anything else like a car or anything. It's like it's a necessity where you never really know the price of what you're getting. Plus you're locked into either a provider or an insurance provider.
Right.
It's not a free market. It's not the same thing as what the other US economy is running on. It's basically it's just a broken system, which
I guess
I've argued we
that's
have.
what my question is. Like I'm watching obviously healthcare is a big issue, and I don't think anybody thought for one second that the Republicans were going to address healthcare. They have concepts of a plan, right? That's what Trump keeps saying, is that there's concepts of a plan. And then when he's pressed, he's like, Obamacare is bad. It's like, all right. But my concern is just on top of this, he has not released one single idea. He hasn't written a tweet that is going to help anybody but rich people. Does that concern you? Like since the election, everything he has advocated for is just helping rich people.
Well, I saw one of your posts and I commented on it about One of his tweets, I think, was
It's
if
this.
you
Yeah, it's
invest
this
more than $1
tweet.
billion, right?
Yeah, it's this one right
Yeah.
here.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, the one you have up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I was just talking, not looking. I think that that could be potentially a good thing. It's like, hey, if a company invests, like, what does he mean by investing $1 billion in America? Does he mean putting up infrastructure here, which means jobs will be here? I think that $1 billion
does it though?
injected into our
Wait, but
market,
does it? Does
if that's what
that
it
mean that
means, then I think
jobs?
that's a good thing.
Okay, but what if you build a company to and then you just take jobs from another company?
Well, like, I mean, that's a scenario. I guess I don't see, because he's trying, like, his whole goal is to try to create more jobs in America, like, fast.
Yeah, let me give you an example. So Amazon would be a good example of this. Amazon consistently
Amazon's
buys.
a piece of shit company, though.
Yeah, but I'm just to give you an example. Amazon consistently. Gosh, this damn puzzle piece. Hold on one sec. Come on. Amazon consistently goes out and they'll acquire smaller companies, and then or they will build a company that's similar to a smaller company to run them out. They either buy them or they beat them. Now, this is giving a huge advantage to billionaires because you have to invest $1 billion in order to get expedited approvals, permits, and getting rid of things like environmental impact studies. So this only works for rich people. What do we know about corporations? Do they share that wealth or do they hoard it? They hoard it. What do we know about these corporations? Are they the ones that are like, for example, Walmart and Amazon? Are they providing high-paying jobs? No, they're not. For the most part, they're not. So what this does is it gives a strategic advantage to the billionaire class or people with access to $1 billion. And potentially they could go and they could create whatever, like let's say you had a company, they can create your exact company. You've built it your entire life. They get expedited approvals. They don't have to live by the same laws that you live by. And then they just undersell you a little bit. And they've saved so much money in setting up their business that they can afford to undersell you until you're gone. Then they'll raise the prices and they'll continue to hoard that money and pay their employees the least that they possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, small business owners also have a hard time paying competitive wages.
Where's the help for them?
Yeah, but I mean, like that.
Like if Trump was coming out and saying, like, here's all these like for small businesses, you no longer have to pay whatever, you no longer have to pay a certain tax, whatever you want to say, like a payroll tax, right? Or we're now going to subsidize your healthcare costs. Something like that helps small businesses, but this doesn't help small businesses, and it potentially collapses small businesses, especially ones that like create goods. Because they can just come in, build the infrastructure, and take your company.
Yeah, for a manufacturing case, small businesses could potentially suffer if those are the markets that end up taking advantage of this.
Why is Trump spending all of his time cutting deals for billionaires? Everything he's talked about is billionaire, billionaire, billionaire.
Yeah, it's a little bit annoying, I got to agree. But I think on the grand scale of things, if you think of like what I said, I think the argument that most people are going to go with and what I'm going with right now is we need lots of jobs right now.
No, we don't.
Wants to,
but we don't.
But we do though.
We don't. We have 10 million jobs unfilled right now. We have the problem we have is we have a labor problem. We don't have a jobs problem. We have a labor problem.
Well, we definitely have some sort of jobs problem because right now, especially in California, like people are applying for jobs that like aren't really real. Like there's people applying for thousands of jobs and getting no calls back. Like if you talk to recruiters right now, they'll tell you how brutal it is. Like some recruiting companies have resorted to selling information for profit because they can't place candidates right now.
Why do you think they can't place candidates?
Because it's a job driven market. Usually
and where are those but where are they normally placing people? These aren't entry level workers. Like you don't have recruiters dealing with entry.
Yeah. Well, it's usually mid, like
yeah, but it's not entry level, right?
like trade people usually.
hmm And
Not
you have all
no,
these
not
massive
entry level, not
corporations
entry
now
level. No.
introducing AI in order to get rid of mid-level employees, right?
Well, I mean that's just I don't think that's driven by like Democrat or Republican. That's just
No, it's
technology.
business. No, it's
Yeah, that's
capitalism.
just
It's
business.
capitalism.
Well, it's just the world evolving. So,
Yeah,
like, if
look,
you
but
have the
that's
technology to make a shoe, are you still going to have an assembly line of people doing it, or are you going to use the
no,
machine,
no, and
the
that's the
manufacturing line?
point. Like, you know what we don't have a lot of? Good paying jobs. There's a lot of
Yeah,
jobs that nobody
what I
wants to
mean.
work. And these type of things, this type of stuff of giving those exact people who are doing everything they can to not pay people a higher salary, those same people are the only ones that are going to be able to take advantage of Donald Trump's plan. So you think those people who are already not paying people a living wage whenever they can, you think those people are going to build new businesses and suddenly have high paying jobs? Absolutely not.
Well, what I hope to see, what I hope to God to see is something like what you said, where he's throwing this out there, but I hope he throws, because I'm a small business owner too, where I hope he throws out some sort of tax incentive or some sort of incentive to help, people create businesses. Kind of like one of Kamala's great ideas was the $50,000 tax credit to someone who creates a business.
How long do we have to wait? How long do we have to wait for like
Well, he's not in office yet,
I know,
so
but like how long
well,
do we
he's
have to
just
wait for him
sending
just
out
to talk
tweets.
about it?
So, but he's
Why
not
is he
in
not
office
talking
yet.
about it?
I don't know. He hasn't been.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm just not. I'm not going to be quick to judge yet because I haven't.
Well,
Like he's not in office yet.
well, you
But
voted for him
I didn't vote for
without
him,
him
but I
having a.
supported him.
I know,
I
but
didn't vote because my vote wouldn't have mattered
okay.
here.
Well,
But I would have voted
you
for him.
supported him despite the fact that he didn't have a plan, and we discussed that, and you were like, "Well, I think he'll do it." And now we've seen.
Well, he does have a plan, just not for healthcare.
No, he doesn't have a plan for the middle class. What's the plan for the middle class?
Well, his tariffs is a plan, and
That
people
charges
think
the
that
middle class more money.
yeah, at the start, but I think that eventually what his goal is job creation, and he needs to. The
Why is
status
it?
quo
I
right
don't
now,
understand why
the
you keep saying
status quo.
job
But
creation.
here,
That's not his
listen though. The
goal.
status quo right now is either increase the income tax because that's how America makes money is income tax, or start raising money on imports and exports, and eventually start
Where does the
reducing.
money come from? Where's the money that we
Well,
raise? Where does it come
the
from?
consumer, but if
From
products
me?
are starting to
Yeah,
be
us.
cheaper to make
Why is
in
that
the
not a
U.S.,
why is that not a tax?
no, because eventually he talks about making strategic tariff decisions,
He did
and
this in his
everyone's like,
last
"Oh, he's going to do it
administration.
across the board." It's like, no, he's not.
But he
And
did.
a
Well, hold
lot of
on,
the
Dusty.
tariffs
Hold
that he
on,
put in
real quick,
place, you
Dusty.
guys kept in place for 4 years
Dusty.
because they did a
No,
good
we didn't
job.
keep all of his tariffs in place. That's not true.
But you
It's
kept a lot of them
Yes, the ones
on
that were
China's
the ones that
EVs.
were yes, the ones that were effective. But
Well,
the last
tariffs
time,
can be effective.
excuse me, the last time Trump did this, we had a net loss of manufacturing jobs of like 160,000. He saved 40,000 and lost like 205,000.
What year was that when those jobs were lost?
That was during his term, his first term. So the
Yeah,
2017
which
to
year?
2021.
Well, I think the overall goal is once again to bring manufacturing into the United States. Those tariffs are no longer having to be paid, and the status quo right now
Wait,
is
what?
the country
Wait,
is
what? The
this.
tariffs aren't
So
what?
the tariffs wouldn't have to be paid if they weren't being imported. If they were being created here, you don't pay the tariffs.
True,
That's the
but
goal.
don't you think it's going to be more expensive if it's made here? So we're going to charge the so
But that's
just
the
so
point.
just so we're
That's
clear.
the
Okay,
point.
but just so we're clear, what you're saying is we want to bring manufacturing jobs back here, and in order to do that, we have to tax the middle class, we have to tax the poor, and we have to tax the middle class because we can't tax
Well,
because
initially, right
excuse
up
me,
front,
excuse me, please,
right
please,
up front,
Dusty,
we aren't
please,
the ones who pay
Dusty,
for it.
Dusty.
The companies are. They pay for the
And they
imports.
pass it along, and it affects us.
Well,
It doesn't
you don't know
affect.
that
It
for
doesn't
sure.
affect rich people. Yeah, we do, Dusty. We do know that for sure.
Okay, well, we'll
You're
have
out
to
of
see.
no. We won't have to see because they have profit margins that they have to protect, and most people's profit margins are lower than Trump's tariff. A lot of these companies, like most companies, aren't operating off a 50% profit margin. And even if they are, and we had a 25% tariff, they're going to make up that other 25% because that's how you run a bit. You run a business. You know about profit margins. You know what would happen if your profit margins evaporated. And you know what will happen, Dusty? Because it's middle class people will struggle and they will sell their businesses or they will go under. And who's going to buy those businesses? The billionaire class. They are going to suck up every single resource. And I'm just telling you, man, like at this point, you're just closing your eyes. You're literally saying, yeah, I know he has no plan. I just hope I hope he does.
That transfer of wealth did not get helped during Biden's administration.
I agree with that.
The thing is
wait, but I
neither
agree.
side
Wait,
has
but
a
I agree with
solution
that.
for that wealth gap to be closed.
The solution is tax the rich.
How?
Well, do you remember Kamala's plan? Do we need to go over it again?
Yeah, but that was never going to get passed.
Well, yeah, because of people like
Mark
you.
Cuban said that.
Because of
no, not people like me. I supported that plan. And if I thought that was realistic to get passed, I would have fought so hard for that to go in.
Wait,
because I believe in that.
You supported that plan, but you voted for, or you supported Trump?
No one believed that was actually going to happen. It's kind of like Biden when he said,
Why
you
not?
know what? We're going to do a bunch of student debt relief. And then everyone just ends up getting collected on because he didn't give them any relief.
It's crazy. Dude, you hold
it's not
complete
crazy
you,
when the
no, it's
entire
because you
US
hold
votes
no,
for
it
him.
is because everything Trump what Trump promised he's not going to deliver, and you fucking know it, and all of you know it. Everything he promised on the campaign
knew it
trail.
about Kamala too.
Excuse me, Dusty.
We are fighting.
Dusty, shut the fuck up.
No, you shut the fuck up.
Why do you keep? I've let you speak for so long. Stop interrupting me.
We've let each
Stop
other
it.
speak.
Stop.
You're being fucking
Stop
rude.
interrupting. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Fucking bully, Jay.
Dude, you're up here whining, and every time I try and talk, you keep going. Every time. It doesn't make
It's how you win arguments.
Oh my
is
God,
by
Dusty,
talking over
Dusty,
people.
shut up for a second. You're doing it again. I've let you speak. I'm not interrupting you. Be an adult. You know goddamn well that everything Trump promised isn't going to happen. Is he going to bring gas prices down? No. Is he going to bring food prices down? No. Is he going to bring down housing prices? No. Is he going to bring down healthcare? No. Is he going to stop wars? No. Nothing he promised is going to happen, and every one of you knows it. And you're like, but I voted for him because I didn't believe that her plan would work. No, you voted for him because he's a guy. That's why.
I told you that.
What's that?
I told you I didn't vote.
Well, you supported him for that reason because you don't hold the same standard. You hold him to a completely different standard than any other person in the world.
Here we go.
Well, which part of his agenda is going to get done, Dusty?
He's already talking about all the things that he said he was going to do.
Which part is going to get done, I said.
Okay, well, his export plan, which we knew ahead of time. Everyone that voted for him knew ahead of time that was his plan. He's talking about doing it.
What's export
He's
plan?
already talking about doing it.
What are you talking about? What's his export plan?
Sorry, on imports.
The tariffs?
Yeah, tariffs.
Okay,
and everybody knew that's what his plan was. That's why they voted for him. They want to see if it's going to work.
Okay, and you recognize that he already did this and it didn't work?
Get any worse.
Yes, it fucking can.
Oh
yes,
my God,
it fucking can, Dusty.
Nobody can
yes,
afford
it
to buy a
can
house
get
anymore,
worse.
Jay.
It can get so much worse.
Oh my God.
Dusty,
Dude,
we
it's
are
been
we
so
are the
bad for, like,
we
it's
are
been
the
so bad for
economic
the
we
past
are the
10 years.
economic dream of the world. Every other country would
are
love
not.
every
Not
other
for-
country
not
would
for
love to be
regular
us
people, we're not.
economically. Every single one of them.
Yeah,
You
for
think
rich
it can't
people.
get worse, and that's why you voted for him? It can't get worse. Yes, it
Again,
can.
just
Yes,
saying
it
that I voted
can.
for him,
When the billionaires
not
own
listening.
everything and your small business folds and you're forced to go work for an
My small
oligarch,
business won't
it's going
fold.
to be worse.
My small business really can't be extrapolated into a big one.
Sure it can. Anything can.
No, it can't. Not
What's
really.
your small business?
I do ISO consulting, helping people implement
Yeah.
uncertainties of measurements in labs.
Yeah,
Like,
so
it's
other consultants, they could make a consortium and they could eat you. No problem.
Probably not.
Probably you're just the best in the world.
I'm not the best. I'm just saying
Oh.
a lot of people go with individuals in my industry. I don't know why, but like pretty much everybody in my industry has like 0 employees.
All right.
So
Wow.
I'm not really worried about that. But yeah, like I said, we just end up fighting even though we have the same goals, which is fucked up, man, because I I want the same thing.
Then
And
be honest.
I want the rich to pay more than us. I
This blows my mind.
hate the wealth imbalance in
Then
this
why do
country.
you vote for it? Why do you support it?
I'm sorry, but I think that saying that if you vote for a Democrat, that you're voting for
I
the
didn't ask about a Democrat. I said, why do you support Trump? If that's your view, you don't have to support a Democrat, but why the fuck do you support him? Vote third party. At least if you voted for Jill Stein or Cornel West or you supported them, at least it would
Well,
make
I did
sense.
vote for a
At
third
least it would
party.
make sense, but you're
I told you
supporting
that's why I
Trump.
voted for, or that's why I supported Trump, is because
This,
RFK
this is
was
why
a
I
third
say
party.
Trump is plays by a different set of rules. You recognize that voting for him is against your interests, and you
No, I
voted
didn't.
for him, and you said, I voted for him because I didn't believe she could do it. What? Oh, even if you didn't
No.
believe she could do it, at least she
No,
holds that same
but
view.
I agree with this plan that you have posted up on your thing about injecting $1 billion into our market.
You agree
I know
with that?
you think that it's just going to turn into companies just not giving anybody high-paying jobs, but I think the more jobs we produce here, the better chance of those jobs catching up with inflation is.
How does
And
it-
I
Wait,
disagree with you
what?
about that statement up there. I think that isn't just for
Why?
rich people
Why
up
would
there.
that?
So
Why
that's
would
the
that?
difference.
Why? First of all, inflation is right where it needs to be. So it's crazy for you to say like.
But we still have to catch up to it. Inflation is down to where it needs to be.
Yeah.
But wages still need to catch up to what it did.
And
in
when
the
has
past.
cutting taxes for billionaires and giving them breaks increased wages ever?
When
That keeps up with
when has
inflation. To keep up
anything
with
you guys
inflation.
have done increased wages ever?
When, do you not know about taxation and how that?
When's the last time the federal minimum wage has been raised?
Well, who's against that? Now it's
Well,
our
apparently everyone.
fault that Republicans won't raise the minimum wage. Dusty, do you see
Republicans
at
only.
all that like you blame
Republicans only.
like this? No, but it is all Republicans. It's 100% of Republicans and a small percentage of Democrats, and you blame the Democrats. You've got a real problem, Dusty, where you keep blaming the
No,
wrong. Like you
I
take the people who are fucking things up, and then you're like, well, because the other side didn't fix it, I'm going to go with the people that fuck things up.
Dude.
What do you mean, dude? You just brought up the fucking minimum wage, and you support
the reason
them.
why everybody voted for Trump is because they believed they were better off while he was in term.
I agree with you, but that
No,
does.
you just said something that said that I didn't agree with that. You didn't agree with that.
No. What, Dusty? You said
Everybody thought they
Dusty,
were better off during his
Dusty,
term.
yes.
That's why he.
I
That's
agree.
why Kamala
Dusty,
didn't win a single fucking swing state, bro.
Dusty, I agree with you. A lot of people thought that, and that's why they voted.
Yeah, so
I agree.
Guess people are just absolute morons, right?
95% of Americans cannot explain how any of this shit works, and you know that.
Yeah, neither can you, dude. You're a smart guy, but you cannot explain how the economy actually works.
What can I explain?
You can't explain the long-term effects of implementing how something will work in our complex economy.
Sure I can. Sure I can.
Like a tariff?
Yeah.
Like you said that tariffs were bad, but
No.
can you explain
No, I didn't.
why
No,
in
I've
the
never
case
said
of
that.
China's EV tariffs?
I've never
Why did
sa-
those work
I've
versus
never
other
sa-
tariffs?
I've never
Explain
sa-
that to me. Why are those ones good?
All right, well
but
let's
other ones are
start on
bad?
let's start on
Explain
a
that.
let's start on a baseline that I don't believe all tariffs are bad, and I've never said that. Can we agree to that? That I've never said all
Okay,
tariffs are
yes.
bad? Okay.
Let's
In
agree to
fact,
that, but
if you say
explain
you've
to me
watched
why
if you say you've
some
watched
tariffs
if
are
you
good and
say
some tariffs are bad.
excuse me, if you say you've watched as much as you say you've watched of me, then you will know that when Biden said he was going to put a 100% tariff on Chinese EVs, I said, yeah, that makes sense. Like if we're going to build EVs here, that makes sense.
I came on when he did that, and I was pissed about it, and you're like, yeah, I disagree with that.
Disagree with what?
You can go back and look.
With Chinese? No, I said it makes sense.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. What I'm asking is why are those tariffs good versus other tariffs bad? That's the question.
So tariffs are good based on like what the outcome is, right? Sometimes tariffs are good. Sometimes tariffs are useful. But I'm looking back at Trump's record using tariffs, and largely they cost us money. Overwhelmingly, they cost us money, which tells me that Trump doesn't know how to correctly use tariffs to benefit the American people. Now, he's great at messaging. He's great at talking about trade deficits, which, by the way, don't fucking matter. Nobody gives a shit about a trade deficit. They don't hurt us. Trade deficits don't hurt us. In fact, almost every trade deficit we have is a net benefit to us. And so Donald Trump tariffs any country that we have a trade deficit with. And it hurts Americans. It hurts all of us. It hurt farmers. It cost us to bail out farmers. It lost us manufacturing jobs. And it didn't bring in more tax revenue. I looked at the numbers this morning. When's the last time you looked at the numbers of Donald Trump's tariffs and the effect that they had?
No, I'm just, again, the question was.
I just want to make sure. No. I asked you, Dusty, I asked you a question. Please, if we're going to have a conversation, when's the last time you looked at the impact of Trump's tariffs?
When he was first running, like 6 months ago.
Okay, and what were the impacts of his tariffs?
I did. The only thing I was looking at was the manufacturing.
And how did that go?
Well, it didn't go super well, but every time you try a new idea, it doesn't mean that every instance has to go super well. You just have to learn from where it doesn't go well. And you said yourself that some tariffs can be strategic and beneficial to the U.S. economy, so you have to stick to those.
Okay, well, blanket tariffs aren't some.
I think he's picked a panel of people on his team that maybe will help him make better decisions in the future about which tariffs to put where.
A bunch of people with no experience who agree with everything he says. You think that's the plan?
I don't think they agree with everything he says.
Okay, well, you're gonna have to explain to me how blanket tariffs are a good idea. How's that a good idea?
He doesn't want to do blanket tariffs.
How many times do I need to show you? How many quotes do I need to show you from him where he talked about blanket tariffs?
There's like 6 other quotes where he said that.
Yeah, no fucking shit. He tells people whatever they want to hear.
But Kamala did the same thing.
She
it was
did?
just the election time.
What was her different take on tariffs?
Well, no, I'm not talking about tariffs. I'm talking
That's
about
all we're talking about, Dusty.
Of Israel changed about whichever state.
That's all we're talking about, Dusty. We're talking about tariffs right now. Please don't change the subject to
No, I'm not.
Israel.
I'm just talking about how candidates do that during the election.
Yeah. Okay, so I have Trump's track record of being shitty at managing tariffs. I have him now saying, like, I'm going to do blanket tariffs. And then other times, like, oh, we'll assess it. So we can't even get a clear answer for him. And you looked at that and you're like, all right, he failed the first time. He's unclear about what he's going to do this next time. Therefore, I'm going to support him.
He wasn't an overall failure the first
tariffs,
time.
bud. We're talking about tariffs. We're talking about tariffs.
But some of the okay, so you have to admit because Biden administration kept some of the tariffs.
Why are we talking about the Biden administration? Please address what Trump did.
Let me finish my point. Don't steamroll me.
I'm asking you. Please answer the question.
No, I'm trying to answer.
Don't bring up the Biden administration. I'm asking you about Trump.
So Trump had one success, the China tariffs, right? On EVs. He implemented those. Were those not successful?
I don't know. Were they?
I don't know. The Biden administration kept them and then increased them.
You don't know,
right?
Wait, were they?
No,
Dusty?
I do know.
Okay, what was the impact?
The impact was that we created a more we created a market that we could compete with when we tariffed their EVs because they had a price point that we couldn't match.
Did we? Because I was just reading report, and again, I don't know anything about the economy, and I can't explain it. But I was just reading. I was just reading about.
Words in my mouth.
I was just reading. Well, you said I can't explain it. That's what you said. I was just reading about.
No one can.
I was just
explaining.
I was just reading about Ford and GM and how they have been taking losses, like they're losing money on EV manufacturing. So it doesn't seem like it worked. It worked for Tesla. That's about it.
Yeah, because all they do is EV manufacturing. They have the infrastructure for EV manufacturing, dude. Ford is gas, hybrid, and EV. When you have one like 10th of your business that's EV, you're gonna have a hard time keeping up with Tesla's output on it, dude.
It's not about keeping up with. It wasn't about keeping up with Tesla.
It is though, because when you're talking about buying power and buying things from overseas, the more you buy, the less it costs you.
Well, yeah, sure, that's true.
Yeah, I know it is.
What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with what does that have to do with tariffs on Chinese vehicles?
About Tesla. Oh my God.
You're
All right, dude,
talking about materials now.
No, I gotta check out.
Yeah. All right.
I'm sorry, I gotta check out. Like, it's I'm getting really revved up, but thanks
I
for
think
having me
you're
on
getting
today.
revved up because you
I
can't
do
answer
think you're a
anything,
smart guy.
Dusty. You can't answer any questions, and then you get
yes,
frustrated.
I did. You know, I answered some questions.
No, I just asked you about EV vehicles, and you're now talking about materials and buying in bulk. You ran from
You're the
ran
one who
away from
brought up
talking
Tesla,
about
and I was
EV, and then
giving
you're
you an
like,
explanation
actually, if
about
you
why
buy in
Tesla.
bulk from overseas, you get a better
You
price. Yeah,
magically
no
like
shit.
turn the
Everybody
conversation just
knows
slightly
that.
so it doesn't look like you're
Everybody
pivoting,
knows
but you do
that.
these like micro pivots in your
Everybody knows that if
conversation
you
so you
buy
can
in
win.
bulk,
You're
that
like
you get
an
a better
excellent,
deal. But we
excellent
were
debater,
talking
dude.
about the
If there
tariffs
was a
on
debate contest, I
Chinese
would put thousands
EVs.
of dollars on you, bro.
What's that?
I would. I said if there was a debate contest, I would put thousands of dollars
I
on
don't
you
give a
because your
fuck. I just want
ability
you
to
to
micro
address
pivot in
reality.
conversations to make someone else look
Dusty,
stupid
maybe the reason
is
you keep
like,
losing is because you're wrong. Have you ever thought about that?
well,
Maybe
I
the
don't know
reason
if
I keep
I've
besting
lost
you in
every
debates is not because
conversation
I'm a
with you.
talented debater, but because you're
I don't know if
wrong.
I've lost every conversation with you. I would say you've won the majority, but I think
Maybe
on
it's
some
because you're
points
wrong.
I do have a good point.
Have you thought maybe you're wrong?
But I admit when I'm wrong all the time to you.
So do I, brother. I admit I'm wrong. I did it yesterday. I did it this morning. I do it on this show all the time. I consistently own up when I'm wrong.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Okay, well, maybe think about that because if we're just going to recap this conversation, you said that you support Donald Trump despite the fact that you recognize he's not doing anything that he promised, and he also doesn't deliver. He also wasn't, and you're like, well, I couldn't vote for her because I didn't think her plan would work. I didn't think she could get her plan through.
No, what I said was I am really annoyed with the fact that everything that's coming out seems to be like he's supporting the billionaires class, but even this tweet that you have above you, I think could be good for the middle class as well if you're injecting that much wealth into the US economy. And our opinions differ about that because you think that as soon as a company that's large comes in, that just means everyone's going to get shit on in the middle class. And I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that a lot of the times, unfortunately, is the case, but that doesn't mean every time it has to be. And I think injecting capital into the U.S. isn't necessarily a bad thing.
This isn't capital.
Well, it is in a way because
How do you know? It doesn't say it. It doesn't say that.
Investing $1 billion, capital or infrastructure or whatever it is probably a good thing.
What
for
if
the
it's
US economy.
Yeah. What
I
if
think
it's $1
he's
billion
really-
to buy out a company and create like a new building, and then you pay those employees less? Any benefit for us there? Who gets the benefit?
Like I said, like you're creating cases where
Yeah.
it could be bad. There's cases where it could be good too, and that's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
so maybe make a plan that can't be absolutely manipulated by billionaires. Maybe don't have a
I actually agree with that.
Donald
I
Trump
agree
shouldn't
with
have.
that.
Well, then what are you upset about? This is a dumb fuck
I'm
plan.
saying
Stupid.
that
What he's
not
saying
every
is
instance- 'cause You
stupid.
said every instance where this occurs is going to mean everyone gets fucked, and I disagree. I think
I didn't
that
say
this
everyone
could
was
be
going to
a
get fucked.
good
I said Trump was
overarching
selling
plan
us out to
that
rich
if
people.
there's safeguards in place, like you say, like you should put safeguards on this where the people are protected.
Where are they? Where are they?
But like what I'm saying, Jay, is this is a good idea with the idea combined with you.
No.
Like if you were on the cabinet and you're like, yeah, we should do this, Donald.
I would never
but
do
hey,
this.
We need
I would
to
never do this.
I'm sorry, but this is still a good idea if you can safeguard it.
It's not. It's not a good idea.
Yes, it is.
No,
You're
it's
saying that
not.
every instance of this is going to be shitty when I know that that's not true.
The people already, Dusty, every company in the world wants to be here. Everyone. We do not need to incentivize people. This is so stupid. Yes, everyone.
Not in textiles.
We have
not every
the
textile company wants
biggest.
to be here, dude.
Yeah, every
could never survive here.
They would if they could survive here. They would. That's what I'm saying. They all want.
But they don't want to be here. Is my point.
They
So
do
that
if they
statement was
could. Let me
incorrect.
finish the point, please.
Textiles
Let me
does not
finish
wanna
the
be
point,
here.
please. Thank you. We don't need to give people
I
tax
just proved
breaks.
wrong.
We don't need to give tax breaks to get people to come here. We don't need to give tax breaks to get corporations to come here. They'll come, they can come here and live by the same rules that we have. This is not a decimated economy that desperately needs people to invest in it. But that's not the problem. Is every time somebody invests in our economy, all the money goes to the billionaires. We don't need more investment. We need to fix the problem.
Okay, so what do you do then?
You tax
Without incentive.
you tax the fuck out of billionaires. You just tax the fuck out of them, and you force that money to go back down. And then you get people that work for these billionaire company or these billionaires, and you give them free health care, and they're no longer forced to work for corporations. And then those people go out and then they become innovative and they start their own businesses and they do the exact thing that built our entire economy in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. We incentivized people starting their own businesses. We incentivized the American dream. This incentivized billionaires to consolidate more wealth and tie more people to jobs in which they are underpaid and they have shitty benefits and they have no ability to dictate their own life. This is an oligarchy move. This is a nod to the people who gave him money. The very people that he said, if you give me $1 billion, I'll cut your taxes. Well, here they are, and here he is cutting their taxes. Tax the fuck out of them. You guys are all cool with them saying, oh, we're going to put tariffs on the middle class, and it's going to hurt the middle class for a while, but eventually it won't. How about we hurt the billionaires for a little while? How about they get hurt for a little while? How about the middle class doesn't shoulder the load every fucking time?
Yeah, I agree with you, but you just live in a fantasy world, dude.
Yeah, I live in a fantasy world where you guys are going to come the fuck to reality and realize that you're bootlicking for billionaires, and you just sit there and you're allowing our country to become an oligarchy. Why? Because I didn't think her plan would work, so I voted for an oligarch.
I didn't vote for that.
Yeah, you didn't vote at all. That's right. You supported it.
No, but I didn't even support that.
Yeah, you did.
That's not who the American people in great numbers supported.
Yes, it is. No, it's what all of them supported. It's what all of them supported.
Shitting on everyone that you lost, bro. You lost.
Yep.
Because your party sucks at communicating with the middle class.
Yeah.
They treat us like idiots.
No. Here's the truth, Dusty.
You guys suck at communicating with people. You can't connect with people.
Here's the truth, Dusty.
You can't.
Well, then how the fuck did we win it? Then how did we win in 2020?
You barely won.
You barely won.
Not this time.
We won by 8 million votes.
We crushed you.
By how many million votes?
What, like 20?
You think you won by 20 million votes?
Yeah, like 11. So I don't know. I can't remember what the popular vote was.
It's like 2. It's like 2 million. Less than 2 million.
States coming in.
No. Explain to me how, if we're so bad at messaging, how did we win in 2020 with the most votes that any president has ever got?
Because of what you explained to me in one of your lives, I'll take one of your arguments and say,
good.
You're always going to vote if you're in a state of crisis. The current leader is always going to be blamed. We were in a state of crisis.
But then you're not going to apply that to Trump winning.
So you admit we're in a state of crisis.
Yeah, but I don't admit that it's a messaging problem. I admit that Americans saw that we were struggling and they wanted something new, and so they voted for Trump, and they don't know, and they like you don't really know what they voted for.
Well, you know what? If that's true, I will send you. I'll tell you what. In 2 years, if the state of the middle class, I don't know, we'll have to come up with some metric. But if in 2 years things haven't improved for the middle class, I'll send you $200.
Well, if you would have made this bet in 2022 and you said
no, why not make it now?
Hold on, let me just explain something. If you would have made
because let's define a metric.
Because I don't think it matters. Because if you would have made this bet in 2022, then we would have all had to conclude that things got substantially better for the middle class between 2022 and 2024, and yet Biden still lost.
Why won't you make the bet?
No, I mean, we can make a bet. I don't know how we'll define it. We can do that offline, but I'm just telling you. But the argument is, if the argument's about messaging, that what you're saying is that American people, and I agree with you, the American people don't know when they're better off. They really don't know. They don't know what the government has done. They don't know the policies that are put in place that will help them. All the things that helped them, all the things that helped us recover economically, Trump wants to undo.
I think that inflation has been improved, but I think that the underlying problem of why people feel like this is the cost of goods still, even though inflation is down, doesn't mean the cost of goods is down. That just means
Nobody
the
said
rate
that.
of increasing is down.
Nobody
So
said
no, I'm
that.
just telling you why people feel the way they do.
Do you think the cost of goods will be up or down in a year?
Well,
this is an easy question,
hopefully-
Dusty. The answer
my
is
hope
always
that they'll
up.
stay the same.
The
My
answer
hope
is
is that they stay the
the
same.
answer is always up. It always goes up. Prices were cheaper
No, it
under
will
Obama
go
than they
up.
were under Trump. Prices are going to be cheaper. The prices under Biden will be cheaper than the prices under the next version of Trump. That's what
I know,
prices
but
do.
you guys did have one of the highest rates
It's not
of
a
inflation.
listen. The problem that we have in this country is we allow that to be an argument, and that's something we need to correct. Saying it was cheaper under Trump is one of the most embarrassing things our country has ever fallen
I
for.
never said
Because
that, though.
I didn't say
Because
you
I
said that.
understand that.
Listen, stop. Our country said things were better under Trump, so we're going to vote for him. And they had no idea why things were better. They had no idea that Donald Trump was driving us into a recession, and he got his ass saved by COVID, and that manufacturing jobs were dropping off, and that the construction industry was crashing, and that guy was actually saved by COVID. That's actually what happened. Is COVID saved that dude's ass. The border was exploding. He got COVID. He could shut it down. He got to ignore all the economic problems. And we're dealing with the economic problems from Trump's first term. And we're dealing with them right now. And you're right. Maybe our messaging isn't good because we somehow can't get Americans to understand that the things that they're dealing with right now are due to the economic policies that were put in place by Donald Trump.
I know, but you can't go on the news and tell a bunch of people, "Hey, the economy's great," when they're fucking suffering.
I know, but I
They're
can
gonna
tell.
get pissed
But
off.
I can say it to you, and you don't give a shit. So what do we do?
Well, dude, me and my wife are lucky because she's a nurse, so we have good health care, which is a blessing because no one really
Yeah, but that's
gets that.
Dusty. With all due
And,
respect, that's not an answer to
like,
the question. That's not an answer to the
no,
question.
what I'm saying is, what do you mean that I don't care then?
You can look at this data. You can see nothing worked, and you don't care. You still support the guy who did it.
But I guess I'm just not convinced that nothing that he didn't work.
I didn't say that. I said that in 2019, the border was exploding, and we were headed for a recession, and he got saved by COVID. That's what I said, and that was directly due to his own policies.
I don't know how he got saved by COVID. It was his
because
demise.
people didn't, because nobody was talking about the fact that we were headed for a recession and that immigration
But
was
if you wanna
exploding.
make that
Because
argument,
let me finish,
right
please.
before-
Let me finish, please.
but right before
Let me
the new
finish, please.
presidency,
Let me
our
finish,
stock
please.
market
Let me
was
finish,
record
please.
high.
Let me finish, please.
So he brought us out of it.
Are you not going to let me finish?
Sorry, I'm just going by the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're going to the stock market. You know what? You know what every president has in common? They preside over the highest stock market in history. Every president has that in common. Every one of them.
Okay, but we went into
See?
what you call a.
So you just derailed it. You just derailed the
You
conversation.
went, no,
You just
no,
derailed the
went into
conversation
what you
about
called a
immigration
recession, and I
and a
said there was a
recession,
huge spike in
and
the
you brought up the
market,
stock
not
market.
just a regular 3% rise.
Yes, we
that you
avoided the
expect.
Yes, COVID delayed the recession. That's what I'm telling you.
No, there was a recession right after COVID, and then
Yes,
there was a huge
COVID
spike
delayed
in
the recession.
economic activity
Dusty,
right after.
we're saying the same thing.
We're not.
Dusty, a recession was coming, and it was going to happen. And I said COVID delayed the recession, and you said the recession came after COVID. We're
just don't get
saying
how you
the
can blame that
exact
recession
Dusty,
not on COVID.
Dusty, we're saying the exact same thing.
We're not, though. You're blaming that recession on COVID.
Go look
or
just
not on
well,
COVID.
well, I'll go to the next person, but go Google 2019 recession. Just go Google it and go get the data
yeah, let me
yourself.
Google it. Yeah, I think I'll Firefox it.
Duck, go, whatever the shit you want to do.
Yeah.
Go on the internet and look at the recession of 2019. Go look at what the economists were saying. Just go look at it. Then come back and tell me what you found. Oh, he left? All right. Let me read comments real quick. Brian says, the fact that there are bus stops outside of Amazon warehouses tells us all we need to know about the wealth gap in this country. If a CEO can take a trip to space on a Wednesday and his or her employees shouldn't have to rely on public transportation to get home, get fucked. Yeah. What's up, Jen? Tiffany says, for your blood pressure meds after talking to Dusty on his Dusty opinions. Thank you. This is from Dustin for experiencing crust ruster while he finally shows his real ugly true colors. Now get after Bree with consent, of course. Glurp it up. I don't even know what glurp it is. Jumar says, "How can Dusty come in here this many times and still never fucking learn anything, bro? He does learn. Dusty does learn things, but it's gonna take an act of God to get him to admit that he shouldn't support Donald Trump." Go to Cash App real quick. Maria says, "I won't cry if Dusty gets smacked. I don't condone it, but I don't condone it. Dusty making vaginas dry up. Tough. That's tough. All right. What's up, Jen?
You doing the math?
Yeah,
How much do we have left for the goal?
a lot.
A lot. So we've got an hour left for the live. We need to try to hit this goal so we can keep the show going every day. So if you guys could donate, that would be fantastic. We could send, so you can send fun jokes. I mentioned the last time, one of the last times I was here, that we thought about maybe doing like a trivia, like to see different trivia questions to ask you things, see if you know different answers. What subjects do you think you're knowledgeable in?
Are you asking me?
Yes, I'm asking you.
Oh, sorry. What was the question? I wasn't paying attention. Go again. I was
Like
updating
trivia
the-
stuff. What topics do you think you're knowledgeable for trivia?
I think I'm good at like geography. I think at least national geography. I don't know if worldwide geography I'm great at. I'm good at politicians, like knowing politicians. I'm pretty good on sports trivia pre like 2010. That's about
What
it.
about like stuff with like Article 1?
Yeah. Oh. Never heard of it. That hurts my feelings. That's fair. I bet.
I think you muted yourself. You're touching things again. I'm muting yourself.
God damn. That thing is so sensitive. Yeah, that hurt my feelings.
Okay, well, so we've got roughly 200 left for the gift goal. So if you guys could help send that out, we've got an hour. It's so funny thing with Dusty is he comes in and he acts like he's all tough in the very beginning, and then he gets owned at the end. So then he's like a dog with his tail in between his legs and he runs. Happens every time.
Welcome to TikTok.
Yeah.
All right.
So, all right.
Thanks, Jen.
Subscribe to us on YouTube, and then also send a mod message, and we'll get you into the Discord.
Thank you so much. Sean says, I don't think there's a message with that. Thank you, Sean. Amanda says, "Go Birds" for the dog. Donation is for dog treats. Terrific. Andrea says, "Jen, do you want to just bring up whoever's next while I'm going?" Andrea says, "From Carrie, definitely thought Dusty repairs vacuum cleaners." Jay, do you think tariffs are giving companies another reason to raise prices? Therefore, DT will not be able to fix prices. Yeah, look, they're going to raise prices. I just don't think Donald Trump understands economics. He can't even state the goal. Every time he's asked about tariffs, he's like, "Oh, well, we have a trade deficit." Well, who cares? So unless somebody wants to explain to me why a trade deficit is such a big deal. Tanya says, "Thank you." Oh, thanks for the donation, Tanya. And Bree's back. Bree says, hair pulling, choking, or eating. Pick one or all. Listen, I'm an eater. I like to eat. So I would say eating. I like a good pizza. Truth matters. While you're coming out, oh, no, go on Truth Matters. Ryan says, "Do you think slavery would have ended without violence?" No, I don't. I mean, well, probably, but not for a very, very long time. Yeah, I changed my mind. Probably, but not for a very, very long time. It would have taken a long time. Jay was wrong and admit the top 5 Christmas. Jay was wrong and admit the top 5 Christmas movies are 5 Krampus, 4 Silent Night, Deadly Night, 3 Black Christmas, 2 Terrifier, and 1 Gremlins. I've seen exactly one of those. Just what? I don't even. Are those all Christmas movies? I know I've seen Gremlins. I don't even know if I remember it. All right. Next up is Alto Gato, the tall cat. Welcome. Alto Gato. All right, no go there. Box is empty. I'm cool with I'm cool with Home Alone being one. I could see Home Alone over Elf, but I've got if Elf isn't in your top 5, I don't know what's going on in your life. I think you could live like a happier life. Seems like. Perry has a buffet for you. All right, we'll get back to the outline then. How much we got? An hour left. Oh, I need to do math. While we're doing math, enjoy this.
He's trying to fuck RTP. She'll make him redder than a cherry. Breeze trying to fuck RTP. Breeze trying to fuck RTP.
There we go. I can't wait till we have an automated way to do this. It's going to be much better. What about redder than a cherry tree? Your daughter sings this song? That's devastating. I'm so sorry. I'm so very sorry. I had nothing. I didn't write it. That's tough. How old's your daughter? That's not good. Wait. Oh yeah. Somebody said Christopher Wray resigned. Let's see what's going on here. Did he make a statement? Does anybody know? Did he make a statement, or is it just like the news is? All right, so this is from New York Times. Oh, at the end of the administration. Okay, I mean that makes sense. I don't see it. I've decided the right thing for the Bureau is for me to serve until the end of the current administration in January and then step down. This is the best way to avoid dragging the Bureau deeper into the fray while reinforcing the values and principles that are so important to how we do our work. The director spoke wistfully about his time at the FBI. This is not easy for me. I love this place. I love our mission, and I love our people. Yeah, one of the things that I think has been effective for Trump is firing FBI directors, and because he has already conditioned people to say the FBI is the deep state, everybody gets excited. The problem is he replaces FBI directors who are doing their jobs with FBI directors who will do whatever he wants. So unfortunately, with Donald Trump, you're getting a more corrupt FBI. This was one of the few places we had some bipartisan agreement. Christopher Wray was a Donald Trump appointee. Biden for continuity, and because Biden cares about people, kept Christopher Wray on so that he didn't screw up the leadership. And because Christopher Wray had the audacity to say that it's possible Trump was hit by shrapnel, he now doesn't have his job anymore. Look, this is just, at this point, anybody not saying this is a fascist movement is just covering their eyes. I don't know what to say. We do have common ground on a lot of things, which is nice. And frankly, I don't think that Trump's approval. I think Trump's approval rating is going to take a massive drop very, very soon, and there will be infighting, and it's going to be a hectic 4 years. I think we're going to see more crimes committed by Trump. That's just obviously just a prediction, but we saw what he did last time. He's going to commit crimes. He's going to cover them up. He's going to obviously run his business while he's president. He's going to use people in his family and his friends to do foreign deals. He's gonna make a bunch of money off of the presidency and set his family up for life. Speaking though of his family, I mean, defend this. Republicans. Today, I'm very pleased to announce the appointment of Kimberly Guilfoyle as United States Ambassador to Greece. For many years, Kimberly has been a close friend and ally. Her extensive experience and leadership in law, media, and politics, along with her sharp intellect, make her supremely qualified to represent the United States and safeguard its interests abroad. Extensive experience and leadership in law, media, and politics. When has she been a leader in any of those? Out of curiosity, when has she been a leader? Kimberly is perfectly suited to foster strong bilateral relations with Greece, advancing our interests on issues ranging from defense cooperation to trade and economic innovation. Congratulations, Kimberly. Donald Trump Jr. says, I'm so proud of her. She loves America, and she always wanted to serve the country as an ambassador. She'll be an amazing leader for America First. Notice nobody mentioned that she was Don Jr.'s fiance. Close friend and ally, they called her, and this is why. because that's Don Jr. out there with his new girlfriend, Bettina Anderson. And now they're sending his fiance to Greece to be an ambassador. So, what are the qualifications for Kimberly Guilfoyle, MAGA? Do you care about that? No, you don't. Of course not. What's the outside of loyalty? Outside of blind loyalty, is there any qualifications there that make you excited about Guilfoyle? No, nobody's excited about that. Is this her response? Let's see. Oh yeah. And then I think it's fair. I think that I hadn't seen a statement, but Kimberly Guilfoyle has given this statement to the press. So that's what she has to say. So probably gonna keep that up there for a minute. It's just Kimberly Guilfoyle. That made me so happy today when I saw that. Kimberly she's had a look. I don't like her, but she's had a rough go at things, and she's not doing well. This is clearly a person who is struggling with her mental health and her actual health, and in the throes of like public controversy, it's like, oh, we'll just make you ambassador to Greece. Enjoy it. I wanted to read this. This is from Ken Klippenstein. This is the actual manifesto from Luigi. And I want to read it because yesterday we read that really long one that wasn't him. So I thought today we should read the real one. To the feds, I'll keep this short because I do respect what you do for our country. To save you a lengthy investigation, I state plainly that I wasn't working with anyone. This was fairly trivial. Some elementary social engineering, basic CAD, a lot of patience. The spiral notebook, if present, has some straggling notes and to-do list that illuminates the gist of it. My tech is pretty locked down because I work in engineering, so probably not much info there. I do apologize for any strife of traumas, but it had to be done. Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming. A reminder, the U.S. has the #1 most expensive healthcare system in the world, yet we rank roughly 42 in life expectancy. United is the largest company in the U.S. market by market cap, behind only Apple, Google, and Walmart. It has grown and grown, but has our life expectancy. I assume he meant has instead of as. No, the reality is these have simply gotten too powerful, and they continue to abuse our country for immense profit because the American public has allowed them to get away with it. Obviously, the problem is more complex, but I do not have space, and frankly, I do not pretend to be the most qualified person to lay out the full argument. But many have illuminated the corruption and greed decades ago, and the problems simply remain. It is not an issue of awareness at this point, but clearly power games at play. Evidently, I'm the first to face it with such brutal honesty. So there we go. Hard to disagree with any of that. Again, I'm not gonna condone the actions, but I don't know. I feel like it's somehow this is dividing like us, those of us who like actually want to see a change, and I think that's maybe the part that is so frustrating for me, is that this event has shed a light on the problems that we have in this country, specifically with healthcare, and we've figured out a way to like divide on it. And I hate that. I hate that for us. I hate that on a personal level, and I hate it for our country. I think we've got to figure out a way to have these discussions, even with people that we don't like, voices that we don't like. If we can get them to join us and come to the table, like I think we need to set some of our own biases and our own past histories aside. Bree says, I want you to have a rough go at it like Kimberly Guilfoyle, and by it I mean my walls. Nobody should wish Kimberly Guilfoyle on anybody. How dare you? John says, thank you to you and Jen. Can we get a date night soon? How about Friday night? Potentially Friday night. Yeah, potentially. That could happen. We need to do one. You said you? Oh, sorry. Tanner says, Elf isn't in my top 100. It's not even in my top 100 Will Ferrell movies. How is Elf not a top 100 Christmas movie? Tanner, I don't like that one bit. I don't like that one bit. Stacy says, sports trivia. Who was POTUS the last time the 49ers won the Super Bowl? That would have been Bill Clinton. Was the president the last time they won the Super Bowl, and that hurts my feelings. Thanks, Stacy. I liked your question, by the way, Ryan. That was a good question. And Dustin says, Oh, this is Dustbuster. Despite the arguing, I like your show. Thanks, Dustbuster. I appreciate that. I mean, look, arguing is part of this. That's part of politics. Part of politics is arguing. Part of politics is having elevated emotions. This stuff means it means something to a lot of us. Alex says, "How does a non-binary wait?" I don't think I can say that, Alex. I actually get the joke, but I'm very concerned about this account. I'm afraid to say that joke. I know it's not that bad, but I don't think I can say it. Betsy says, "Thanks to you, Jen, and the rest of the mods. Appreciate it, Betsy." Anybody in the box? All right, I'll update the numbers in a sec. Let me find a video so we don't sit here in silence. All right, where's this? We're gonna do this. Caitlin Clark was Time. I don't know if it was Time Woman of the Year or Person of the Year. Let's see. I want to get that right. Athlete of the Year. Okay. Caitlin Clark was named Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year. And she had some quotes in there. This is Eric Daughtery reporting. Here's some of the quotes that she had in her interview. "I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege. A lot of these players in the league that have been really good have been black players. This league has kind of been built on them. The more we can appreciate that, highlight that, talk about that, and then continue to have brands and companies invest in those players that have made this league incredible, I think it's very important. I have to continue to try and change that." That's an incredibly humble message. This is a person who says, "Look, I'm getting all the love, and I'm making millions of dollars, and I'm doing it because of my own hard work, but also because of those who came before me." And a lot of the people that came before me specifically were black women, and frankly, black female athletes have not been marketable in this country for obvious reasons, right? People don't like it. People have a problem seeing female athletes in general, but then black female athletes. So this is obviously like a great honor for her, and she takes that time to accept the honor, say like, "Yes, I worked my ass off, but like I was fortunate. This doesn't exist without the people that came before me." That's a crazy thing. Like, who could possibly get mad at that? Nobody's going to get mad at that, right? Wrong. Megyn Kelly is. Megyn Kelly says, "Look at this." She's on the knee, all but apologizing for being white and getting attention. The self-flagellation, "Oh, please pay attention to the black players who are really the ones you want to celebrate." Condescending, fake, transparent, sad. What Caitlin Clark's one of the reason Caitlin Clark is as marketable as she is because Caitlin Clark is one of the most transparently like honest athletes we've ever seen. She does not lose her competitiveness. Every single black player she's ever played against, she wants to beat their ass. She wants to beat them every single time. And I bet if you asked Caitlin Clark if she thought she was the best player in the world, she would say, "You're goddamn right, I'm the best player in the world." And she's going to keep playing and trying to prove that. This is a competitor who simply is just trying to take a little time to recognize that the first time Time has chosen a female basketball player to win this award, it was her, and there were a lot of people that didn't get recognition that came before her. Imagine being mad at that. Yeah, what did happen to Megyn Kelly? Imagine being mad at that, and then obviously to take it to the length she took, like self-flagellation. Is it flagellation? It's flagellation, right? I think. She's condescending. What part of this is condescending? Can somebody explain if there's like, what's condescending in this? I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege. All right, we're gonna pretend that that just doesn't exist. Is that what she's upset about? She's upset. Like, is this still like a white privilege doesn't exist? Says Megyn Kelly, who frankly is good at her. I think she's good at her job. If like she gets ratings, and I think it helped that she was a white woman at Fox News. I think that helped a great deal. But it's like when they say like, how can we come together when they get mad about DEI, like when they get mad about CRT, when they get mad about identity politics, all of that, like Caitlin Clark isn't mad. Caitlin Clark isn't attacking anybody. Caitlin Clark is giving thanks to the people who came before her, and somehow that makes Megyn Kelly mad, which is a little surprising from Megyn Kelly, if we're being honest. Who it's not surprising from is Charlie Kirk, who says Caitlin Clark is getting very bad advice. Who says she got advice, Charlie Kirk? Who said she got advice at all? Why are you assuming that this is bad advice? The whole country is rejecting wokeism and anti-white ideology. She has a chance to stay neutral and failed miserably. She took a neutral stance. That is neutral. Do you want to go back and watch the WNBA? Who's like the best player in the WNBA of all time is Cheryl Swoops. Most people don't know her name. Lisa Leslie. Most people don't know her name. Dawn Staley. Most people don't know their names. But everybody knows Caitlin Clark, and a lot more people recognize Rebecca Lobo. It's just a reality, and I think that it's crazy as a conservative to get upset at Sue Bird. Yeah, people know Sue Bird. I don't know if as many people know Sue Bird from her basketball playing days. She's become more of a celebrity like at the latter end of her career. But yeah, Candace. Yeah, thank you, Candace Parker. I shouldn't have left Candace Parker out there. Nobody knows him. People forget about him all the time. Diana Taurasi. Yeah, people know Diana Taurasi. But either way, like, this is not keep woke alive. This is like if this was just her saying, I want to thank the players that came before me, no problem. I want to thank the other white players that came before me. Charlie Kirk wouldn't have a problem with that. This is just a bunch of racists. This is why we say it's racism. This is just racism. You saw somebody thanking black players and it made you mad. Mad enough that you ran to Twitter to complain about it, like somehow you were a victim. Makes me concerned. I also wanted to show you this. This is the difference between annual salaries in the NBA and WNBA. This is in millions of dollars. The average salary in the NBA is what is that? 1.2 million. Average in the WNBA is 119,000. It's like 10x. And yeah, that is every sport. But the interesting thing about Caitlin Clark is her salary makes up about 7% of her net worth, which means like this idea that the men are paid more because of who they are. Most of what Caitlin Clark is making, like I said, 7% is her salary, which is like $180,000 or $190,000. The rest of it's endorsements, which means private companies have spoken like this is marketable. Most good WNBA players are making far more off of their endorsements than their contracts. But those that aren't getting endorsements are barely making it by. Some of these people, like you play for the New York Liberty and you're making $100,000 a year, you're poor. Because you live in New York. You got to go play overseas. Remember, Brittany Griner was a top 3 to 5 player in the game, and she was having to go to Russia in the offseason to play just so that she could make money. You couldn't even take the time off. So again, it's racism, it's misogyny, it's all of that. Like if let's say LeBron James were to win Time Player of the Year, and LeBron James were to say like, I couldn't have done this without the NBA was founded and we had a lot of great there were a lot of white players that came before me. Bob Cousy. I'm trying to think when the NBA was completely white. Who else? Jerry. I mean, I guess it was before Jerry West time. But if he did that, do you think any of them would have a problem with it? Absolutely not. They'd be like, finally, a guy who gets it. Finally, white people getting the credit that they deserve. Yeah. Larry, and by the way, Larry Bird is, I know you guys are saying Larry Bird, but Larry Bird is on the record as saying he's clear. He's not white, he's clear. So I don't want to offend Larry Bird here. Maybe if they had more fans, they would get paid more. No one watches the WNBA. Well, they just signed a massive media deal, dummy. Just a massive media deal. So I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why these media companies are paying them massive amounts of money. RJ, get the hell out of here. Caitlin Clark, like I said, 7% of her money is her salary, and the rest is companies who want to promote her. This is the biggest attendance spike we've ever seen. The WNBA is actually doing really well. The NBA is bleeding numbers right now. They're bleeding sponsorships and they're bleeding numbers. The ratings are as low as they've been in a decade. So Yeah. Look at we got all the triggered men in here. The NBA subsidizes the WNBA because they are broke. Yeah, they were. They were broke. They were broke. And you know what? The NBA also didn't make money for a long time. And you know who saved the NBA? Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. And then it needed saving again, and then Michael Jordan came in and saved it. Imagine if it was just a bunch of white dudes played in the NBA, that wouldn't be a sport anymore. Nobody would care because nobody cared when it was. So do men care about women's sports or not? No, they only care when they can shit on women's sports, Joe. That's the answer. They do not care, but they do like to diminish. And that's because these men that are in the comments, they think that like they're better athletes. They think that they would have a shot. They're like, men are better. That's why we make more money. They don't want to acknowledge their obvious sexism. It's tough for them. That's why they get mad when people bring it up. Check this real quick. Rhonda says, just for being you. Thank you, Rhonda. Appreciate it. Love and Basketball is one of my favorite movies. I've never seen it. There was this kid, our basketball manager used to watch it on the bus every time we went on a road trip, and he always talked about it. I never watched it. Jumar says also WNBA players aren't arguing to make the same as NBA players. They just want a larger percentage of profit from the teams. And they'll get it. They'll get it, and it's deserved. Hannah says apparently Don Jr. has been seen holding hands and out with a socialite. There's pictures, but him and Kimberly are still engaged, like father, like son. I showed those pictures. I didn't know they're still engaged. I'd imagine that's just a media thing. They're saying that. Chris says, good question, Stacey. Go Steelers. Niners are booty hole. It's not nice. That is not nice at all. I hate that I like the Steelers. I don't even want to make fun of them. Jesus. Bree says, pick one, eating from the back, eating from the front, or eating from above. Front. Front. Say front. All right. I think that was it. I don't know. Oh, thank you, Katrina. Okay, I get it. Well, I already answered. I'm not going back on that one. All right. This was an older article that somebody reposted. It's from November 22nd, so not that much older, but I think I don't think we covered it, and I think it's relevant right now. What did I just do? It's from Yahoo News here. Trump team weaponizes Elon Musk in threat to senators who won't confirm cabinet picks. One of the president's-elect's advisors, what was his name? Jonathan Karl said, if you are on the wrong side of the vote, you're buying yourself a primary. That is all. And there's a guy named Elon Musk who's going to finance it. The president gets to decide his cabinet, no one else. If that's not a cucked position, I don't know what is. The president gets to pick his cabinet. We don't. Well, then why'd you guys vote against it? And Elon now is saying they're saying he's willing to put up $1 billion in order to subsidize primaries against people who vote against the cabinet. And I wanted to remind everybody of this. This is Dmitry Medvedev, Russian oligarch, and this is Elon interacting with Dmitry Medvedev in 2022. Medvedev says on the New Year's Eve, everybody's into making predictions. Many come up with futuristic hypotheses, as if competing to single out the wildest and even the most absurd ones. Here's our humble contribution. What can happen in 2023? Elon calls this an epic thread. So Elon loves this thread. Where's 1 and 2? Did I miss 1 and 2? All right, maybe I just have 4 and 5. Poland and Hungary will occupy western regions of the formerly existing Ukraine. 5, the Fourth Reich will be created, encompassing the territory of Germany and its satellites, i.e. Poland, the Baltic states, Chechnya, Slovakia, the Kiev Republic, and other outcasts. 6, war will break out between France and the Fourth Reich. Europe will be divided. Poland repartitioned in the process. 7, Northern Ireland will separate from the UK and join the Republic of Ireland. And 8, civil war will break out in the United States and California and Texas becoming independent states as a result. Texas and Mexico will form an allied state. Elon Musk will win the presidential election in a number of states, which after the new civil war's end will have been given to the GOP. Yeah, and Elon again says, epic thread. just openly working with the Russians here, just openly communicating with the Russians, openly working with them. Elon's been on the phone with Putin. He's been on the phone with Trump, making these decisions. Yeah, Catherine, that's what he's saying, though. He's saying that Elon would be president because we would have a civil war and we'd create a new country, and the country Elon would be in charge of would be the Republican country. So obviously, they would just make their own rules. Yeah, I think maybe you guys are missing it. If you're missing the civil war part, it would be a new country. It would not be our country. It's a new country that the Republicans have, and he's the ruler. Again, like highly unlikely. I'm not trying to claim like that he's right. What I'm showing is Elon Musk openly and often communicating, interacting with, and hyping up Russian oligarchs. And you know what's a good life? Being an oligarch. It's a good life. And I think that Elon envies them a little bit. I think Elon is well on his way to being an oligarch if we can't get Republicans to stand with us. All right. What time is it? 1:30. Yesterday we were talking about Bolsonaro in Brazil, and I just wanted to finish a couple of things. If you don't remember, Bolsonaro lost his campaign, and he basically ran Trump's playbook. He went and he there's a million things just popped up. He claimed election fraud. He claimed that the machines were changing votes. They had a plan to overturn the election. They stormed the Capitol, and it turns out that they're connected to Steve Bannon. I'm going to give you guys like the connection here. Over the years, Bolsonaro has leaned into the nickname the Trump of the Tropics. And both men have built parallel legacies, each facing legal and personal trials, including assassination attempts and indictments, and both elevating their families to roles of political prominence. At the Trump watch party in Mar-a-Lago on election night, Don Jr. posed for a photo with his Brazilian counterpart, former first son and Congressman Eduardo Bolsonaro. And on Wednesday, Eduardo told CNN Brazil, as goes the United States, so goes Brazil. A linchpin of Bolsonaro's strategy has been his alliance with prominent U.S. conservatives, a task led by his son, Eduardo. Since at least 2018, Eduardo has frequently traveled to the United States, cultivating relationships with figures like former Trump advisor Steve Bannon and American conservative union chair Matt Schlapp. You may remember Matt Schlapp. What was his chart? Is he the one that he's the one that him and his wife had like a cuck relationship thing with the pool boy. His initial meeting with Bannon, who later served as an advisor to Bolsonaro's campaign, cemented an enduring alliance that granted Bolsonaro's movement access and to tactics tested in the United States. What Bolsonaro stands for is what the people of Brazil stand for. Bannon said in February, he won his second term just like President Trump. It was stolen from Trump. It was stolen from Bolsonaro. And the reason he's got momentum is he stands for what the people believe in. It's amazing to me that the thing that they say that they stand for is lies. Amos, welcome. Amos?
RTP.
Hey.
I haven't seen you for a while. Have you gone dark?
I host a live show every single morning at the same time. Same one I'm doing right now.
Oh, okay. I just thought after, you and Jeff, Mr. Rational Debater, grifted off of each other for so long. And then he turned back into a Republican that you would crawl in a hole. I thought that would have happened.
Yeah, well, guess you were wrong. It wouldn't be the first time you were wrong. It's kind of a pattern.
No,
you being wrong
really?
is kind
Were
of
you
a
right
pattern. I was talking. Thank you. I was talking. Thank you.
You're right about the election?
Cool. Yeah, just let me finish sentences, brother. Let's not do this. Yeah, I'm not surprised that you were wrong about that, but go ahead. What did you want to talk about?
I want to talk about your attitude about how Donald Trump was going to be in jail and he's going to lose the election. And you were grifting off.
I don't think I said I think I was pretty consistent in saying I think I was pretty consistent saying I didn't think Donald Trump was going to go to jail.
I thought you were pretty consistent on your high horse.
Yeah.
Talking about how people that voted for Donald Trump were fucking losers, and you you were trying to educate us all on how, it was too big to rig. She was going to wipe the
Wait, what?
floor with Donald Trump.
I said too big to rig?
You said her campaign. Look at how many people are showing up at her rallies.
There were a lot of people that showed up to the
You
rallies.
guys are cooked.
Yeah, I was wrong.
You were fucking really wrong, dude.
Yeah.
With a huge attitude to back it up with zero humility.
No, yeah, well, the thing is, I was wrong about my prediction. I'm not wrong about you guys not knowing anything. I think that still holds true.
Wow. What do we not know? That we don't want BlackRock employees telling the president and the vice president what they can and can't do? How many BlackRock employees worked under the Biden administration?
How about
genius?
I don't know. How many were there?
You tell me. This is your party. How many? Come on.
I don't know. Do you know?
I do know.
Okay, how many?
4.
Okay, and how many served under Trump?
How many served under Trump?
Mm-hmm.
And in this term, the one that we're
His first one. His first one, because nobody has served under him yet, because he hasn't taken office yet.
Did he? He's been building.
Are you not going to answer this question?
He's been building his cabinet.
How many BlackRock employees served under Trump his first term?
That he hired?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You tell me.
4.
And what were what were their positions?
The one of them, let me find his name. Craig Phillips. Craig Phillips was Steve Mnuchin's right-hand man. And where did Steve Mnuchin come from?
And what was his position? What did he do?
Steve Mnuchin was
what did he do in Trump's cabinet?
He was Steve Mnuchin's. I can find the name of his exact role. Give me a second. But he was Steve Mnuchin's right-hand man, and Steve Mnuchin was the Secretary of the Treasury.
So 2 of the BlackRock's.
So he was the head of
under Biden and Harris are the
What's that?
economic. Go ahead.
Oh no, go. You're good.
No, I cut you off. I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
He served on the. Now I just left that page. He was. Wait, no, that's his position at BlackRock. I don't know what the name of it is. Keep going. I'll find the name of the position.
So they were both economic advisors under Harris and Biden. Okay?
Yeah.
Their positions. Now, if you draw a line and try to figure this all out,
yeah,
you go, let's see how deep this rabbit hole goes.
Let's see.
You go, why was Hunter Biden pardoned for 11 years?
What the fuck does that have to do with BlackRock?
Let me explain it to you, genius. I understand that we're going to go deep right now, and you're like surface level. So if you go back 11 years,
yeah,
if you go back 11 years, Hunter Biden was doing his business in the Ukraine.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, as it turns out, BlackRock is directly involved in building back the infrastructure in Ukraine. Okay, all of this.
What does that have to do with Hunter Biden? What does that have to do with Hunter Biden?
What does that have to do with Hunter Biden?
Yeah.
It's all comes down to money, dude. What are you talking about?
I know, but how's Hunter Biden connected
Why is this
to?
Funny to you?
Because this is dumb. So how's Hunter Biden connected to BlackRock?
How is he? He's connected to them over there doing business deals.
He wasn't. No, he was working with Burisma, not BlackRock.
He's working with it all, dude.
He's working with it. He's working with it all, dude. It's all of it. Good argument. Tie them together. I'm giving you the opportunity to tie Hunter Biden to BlackRock.
BlackRock is directly involved with Hunter's father.
How? How so?
They're working together. The BlackRock employees are in their cabinet. Okay, I told you.
Okay, but they were in Trump's cabinet too.
Economic advisor.
But they were in Trump's cabinet too.
Not in those positions.
The Treasury? What the fuck do you think the Treasury is?
Give me their position under Donald Trump.
They were senior advisors to Steve Mnuchin, who was Secretary of the Treasury.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so kind of the same exact thing that you're talking about?
No.
No, not the same. No. What's the difference?
Nope.
What's the difference?
Difference is it's a different position. They're higher ranking. Okay.
What do you mean? Who's higher ranking?
The employees that are under the Biden administration. At
Who are
this
those
point.
employees? Who are they?
I have to pull them up if you want the exact names.
I would.
Look them up.
Thank you.
It's easy. You got a computer in front of you. It takes you 10 seconds. Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at other stuff. You didn't bring.
You should know this, by the way.
I should know every senior advisor and where they worked. Name 2 other senior advisors. Actually, name these 2. Name the ones you're saying. If I should know it, why don't you know it? You brought it up.
I have it all. I just have to go on my other page and get it.
Okay.
Dude, but my point here is you guys paint this picture that Donald Trump is like, he's a thief. He's going to ruin the country. It's just.
Can I ask you one more? Can I ask you one more
everything
question before?
about the
No,
guy
before
is
you go to
bad.
that. Before you go to that, I just have a question. Do you know who Eric Prince is?
I know the name. I don't know exactly who he is. No.
Do you know what Eric Prince did for work?
Explain to me who Eric Prince was, please.
You don't know what he did? You know what? No idea what company he might have started or been the head of?
Educate me, please.
BlackRock.
You have a point?
You know who Betsy DeVos is?
Yeah. What's your point?
That's his sister.
What's your point with Prince?
Eric Prince worked for the Trump campaign in 2016, and he was one of Donald Trump's senior advisors, and he's one of the founders of BlackRock. He was the one at the Trump Tower meeting with the Russians that Trump lied about. That said, remember when they said it didn't happen, and then it turned out that it did happen? Well, that was Eric Prince.
Is Prince still working with BlackRock?
I think so.
I don't believe so. Look that up.
He was a founder. So if he's not still working with them, then is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I want to know how you're deflecting to that if he's not.
Well, you're just trying to you're making the claim.
He's not even directly involved.
Oh,
with
excuse me,
BlackRock.
Blackwater. Sorry, Blackwater. Sorry. We're talking about BlackRock. Sorry, I was talking about Blackwater.
How the fuck do you jump from Blackwater to BlackRock?
Oh, because I was thinking about Blackwater.
So have you changed your role a little bit here?
What do you mean?
Have you changed your view that that conservative people that voted for Donald Trump are not terrible human beings?
I've never said that.
Well, you were pretty
all my family and all my friends are Trump supporters, dude. The reason that people are nasty to you is because you're kind of a prick.
No, I'm not.
No, that's look. Then how come everybody has issues? Then how come everybody has issues with you?
I give the same energy to you that you give back, dude. Okay.
But no, you don't. I'm matching your energy. I'm just saying, if you have a problem with how people treat you, don't say that we treat everybody else like that. Not that long ago, I had Republicans defending me publicly. Like 2 weeks ago, Republicans were defending me publicly because I'm fair to them. It might be you, bud.
Dude, you fucking sat on Jeff's page for a year and made your little.
It was about
coin,
4 months.
okay?
It was about 4 months.
Had your little breakups online with your friends.
What are you talking about?
Felice, and all the stuff that was going down.
A breakup? We just don't. She hosts her live, and I host mine, and I had a live before she came around. We just don't work together anymore.
It was a little.
You seem to spend a lot of time thinking about my personal life. I'm sorry that my personal life has caused you so much grief,
Let me
bud.
finish. It's just a little break.
No, you're talking about why is my personal life such a issue for you?
I didn't know this was personal. This is out in
You
front of
just said
everybody,
my
bro.
friends. That's what personal would be. Why do you care about any of this?
Oh, I said your online friends, okay?
Why do you care
Sorry,
about this?
because I just want to show people what kind of piece of shit you really
Okay, what
are,
kind of
dude.
piece of shit am I? Tell the people.
Sitting on Jeff's page for, let's say, 4 months,
Uh-huh.
okay? Laughing at people, these fucking MAGA weirdos and all this stuff, okay? I just wanted to come back in here and
Where is
point
the
the finger at
moment when you
point the
needed the
finger at you,
most?
bro. And go, you know what?
Because you had a bad day. Quit crying like a little. Quit crying. You're a grown fucking man on TikTok right now going, you
Listen to
guys were
you.
kind of mean to me and you laughed at people and I'm here to set the record straight. Toughen up, Liam. Toughen up.
never said.
Toughen up,
Listen,
bud.
I never
Toughen.
said.
The thing
I
that
never
you
said I
can't do,
care.
Liam, you can show up and you can complain, but the one thing you can't do is formulate or substantiate an argument. You're just a whiner. You're just here to complain. I'm sorry. Do you not have friends that you can go whine to? Who's that other person in the picture with you? Can you go complain to her?
You're pathetic.
Well,
Her?
listen, you're on my live complaining about your feelings. I wouldn't be calling other people pathetic. You're a grown
I'm
man showing up on my
calling you
live. Be like,
out.
you guys, I really didn't like how your tone was. Grow up, Liam. You child.
I'm just calling you out that you
Bro,
lost,
the
dude,
Republicans
okay?
don't like you. Nobody likes you because you give Republicans a bad name. You're a joke.
Yeah, you're right. You got it.
Who likes you?
You've
I've
been
never
right about-
I've never heard a single
been right
Republican
about
say a good
everything.
thing about you. And I'm friends with a lot of Republicans, and universally they don't like you.
Good deal, bro.
Weird.
I'm glad my name's out there. I'm glad that
I'm
I
sure
live
you
in your-
are. I'm sure
I'm
you are
glad that I
glad. That's
live
why
in
you
your
go.
head.
That's why you show up in our lives and you try and get
I'm glad
attention.
that I live in your head for free,
You
bro.
don't. You don't.
I do, bro. You just told your whole panel.
I did.
That's beautiful.
Brother, you just came to my
often
live to complain about
how
your
often
feelings,
do
and
you
now you're
talk?
playing rent free.
How often do you talk about me, bro? Would you say
Never.
daily?
Never.
Daily?
Do you know what?
This is
Do you know when
so
it came up?
sad.
I'll tell you when it daily? Daily? Bro, I've never said your name out loud. You know
Daily. This is sad.
when your name came up, just so you know, your name came up because a bunch
yeah.
of excuse me.
Tell me more.
Your name came up because a bunch of Republicans were laughing at you for losing a push-up contest to Good Trouble, and they were all saying this guy's embarrassing us.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even bring it up. Yeah, that's what happened.
Because you
People
are-
were laughing at you because you tried to big time Good Trouble and you tried to alpha Good Trouble, and he showed you that you weren't the alpha, and everybody was
Trouble.
making fun of you.
Listen, dude, Good Trouble's 5'2". I could big time him any day of the week, okay?
Yeah, but he's also a lot smarter than you, so tough luck.
Are you really?
Yes, yeah, you're not a good
Smarter.
representative for the right. Nobody thinks you should be speaking for them. There's not find me a conservative who thinks Liam should be a spokesperson for conservatives. Nobody thinks that.
Okay, let's do that. Can we put a poll up? Can we put a poll up right now?
No.
RTP, you lost all credibility. You're a douchebag.
Yeah.
End of the story.
All right,
okay?
bud. I'm glad you got your feelings
I don't know
out.
why you still. I don't know why you still do this. Okay.
Just to make your life hell, bud. Just to make
You
your
should
life
go-
hell.
You should go plunge toilets or something, bro. That's what you should do for a living.
All right.
And shut the hell up and listen to people more.
Who,
Instead of
you?
flapping-
No, I listen to people. I don't listen to dummies, though.
Flapping your gums. You don't listen to shit. dude,
Flapping
okay?
your gums. I don't listen to shit. Nobody listens to you. This is the reason you're on this live right now is because people in your own life won't listen to you. The people in your physical life don't listen to you. So you go from liberal live to liberal live to liberal live, and you throw a fit. I'm sorry that your life sucks. I really, really am. But nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares, bud. If people
Listen.
cared, you wouldn't be here.
Listen, this is the thing, dude.
All right, tell me the thing.
You had nobody in the request box. Okay.
I'm not
All
not a debate channel. I cover news.
All of your friends are in here. That's it. Okay. Nobody wants to talk.
Where's
to
your
you 'cause
friends? Where's yours?
You lost all.
Where's
you
yours?
Lost all your credibility.
Where's your friends,
okay?
Liam? Where are they?
You're a little soy boy. Okay, is what you are. All right, a loser. Yep. And you muted yourself, and you muted yourself, and you're a little soy boy. There you go.
Says it
there
in my
you
profile.
go, soy boy. You figure it out.
Good one. Good one.
Nice job.
Good one.
You're such a little guy. I'm sorry that you lost. No, I'm not. I'm fucking rubbing it in your face because you're a douche. Have a good day, bro.
Have a good day, bud. Have a good day. Let it go, bud. You won. Let it go. Jen, I see. Are you just telling me to do math? I think I did the math, but let me check the messages.
Liam did so well.
Kieran says Liam's blood alcohol content is 1776. Penny says Amos wants to go deep, but Bree wants to go deeper. That's fair. He's a treat. I forgot about that guy. I forgot he was that insane. Alyssa says, I don't know Liam, but he sounds like he's jealous and maybe a little bitch. Fair. Sorry, Liam. Sorry they're picking on you. Debbie says, closer to the goal. Thank you, Debbie. Bree says, since you're matching energies, do you want to match my freak asking for me? No. No. Absolutely not. That's a no. Cameron says, another great day for us, Double Daddy. Great day for my junk spunk. So he says, Liam once DM'd Athena and called her.
That wasn't Athena. That was Tex.
Yeah, that was Tex. Wrong person. It's easy to get him mixed up, though. Just want to know. Cameron says, just want to know if male can do push-ups. That's Amos and Liam together. All right. Oh, that's does he have another name or another username Male, which is Liam backwards?
No, Jolly started calling him Male on a live instead of Liam because that's his name spelled kind of.
All right, I like that.
So yeah.
Solely.
I'm honestly disappointed. You didn't have Discord up. I sent you the
saw
video of him losing the push-up contest to Good Trouble.
Let's just show it. I didn't want to show when he was up there, but let's just show it.
About 3 minutes in, the contest starts.
You're going to show me what one push-up.
All right, let's see. Let's see what we got
This
here.
is what we're gonna do.
You going to put your little bike shorts on when you do it?
No, I'll do it in a fucking sweater and shorts.
He wishes. Liam wishes he put on the bike shorts. Well, we all wish, I think.
Turn your hat backwards so your chin
This is
can get all the way
back-to-back
to the
days. Good
ground.
Trouble made an appearance here.
Get ready to lose, Liam. It's going to be embarrassing. So let's see you. Let's see your setup here, boss.
What a shirt.
$100.
You want it that way? Is that better?
Nope.
I actually haven't seen this before.
This is how I have it.
No.
Just
No, I haven't seen it.
Not upside down, that's for sure.
Using a phone's tough.
Here you go. Great.
All right. So now what are we? Now we're doing a push-up competition.
Yeah, we're
You
doing
get a little bit
push-up
scared
contest. Just
there
wait,
for a
it's better.
second?
I've never
Do they
been
do it
more
at the same
excited
time?
about
All right, I
anything.
think it's right here. Here we go.
Oh, brother, you're in so much trouble. This is incredible. Here we go, boss.
I can tell by the arms already. Good Trouble's got this one in the bag. How does bro have cankles
Let's
for his
go.
whole arms? Why is it one straight line all the way down?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
God, get that ass down, Liam.
7.
What are you doing?
8.
He's doing downward dog push-ups.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13,
Uh-oh.
14,
Uh-oh.
15.
Uh-oh.
Oh, brother.
Oh, no.
16, 17,
Uh-oh.
18, 19. Get down,
Uh-oh.
Liam.
Oh, no.
20,
20.
21, 22, 23, 24,
Oh, no.
25,
Oh,
26.
20. Oh, no.
27,
Woo.
28, 29, 30, 31.
He's going like
Let's
this
go.
on the way
31.
up.
We got 2 more. Let's go. 32, 33,
What is he
34,
using his legs?
35, 36.
32.
I'm done.
Look, all right. All right, Liam. Well, I can do more push-ups than you, Liam, and I'm not even in very good shape. So, sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, so guys, if you guys see Liam anywhere, call him anus, call him male, and ask him about his push-ups.
Liam
He'll get
got
really
14.
mad.
Somebody said Liam got 14. We only count the ones with good form, Liam.
Yeah. So where are we at for total for the? We got like 5 minutes left. So if we want to send some donations to wrap up the live, because we got about 5 minutes left for it. But yeah, no, Liam is he's an angry.
I honestly don't remember talking to him. We're $18 short. We're really close anyways. I don't remember ever talking to Liam, to be honest. I didn't
don't remember a lot
recognize
of
his
shit.
voice. Yeah, I don't remember. But he's very upset that I spent time with Jeff. Hi, Jeff, if you're here. I don't regret my time I spent with you, Jeffrey. I just want you to know that.
Yeah,
Enjoyed every second of it.
You got more messages probably to read.
Yep.
But he was in here on an account that was Liam. So he's but you don't remember a lot of things. So
this is from Tex. I swear to God, this is real. This is from Tex. MAGA doesn't claim Liam.
That's a rare text W.
Oof. That's tough, Liam. That's a tough one. Oof. Dana says, for Jen showing me Amos struggle at 12 push-ups. W, Jen. Zach says, me and Bree are still waiting for our stranglings. Jesus. Bree says you definitely meant no. I didn't mean yes. I meant no. No means no, I think. I heard at least. All right, I think I covered all of them.
Yeah, I mean it was fun. I mean, Liam likes to talk shit about like Good Trouble.
Thanks, girl.
He was a professional cyclist.
Yeah, yeah. Also, you just know, you can just look at somebody and be like, oh, they can do a good amount of push-ups. Like it's, of course, good. Like we've seen him.
Did you miss Sully's?
I thought I read Sully's right before we watched that, but maybe not. I thought I read it, but maybe I just read it in my head. He said, I love you guys.
Oh, okay.
And we have completed the goal, so thank you guys for that. Let me read the message that came through. Stephanie says, trying to get you to the goal. We got the goal. Thank you guys so much. All right, Jen, any last words?
Good Trouble, or not Good Trouble. I'm sorry. You got Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal. Checked all three.
I did not check PayPal. I usually get a notification. I haven't seen any. Wait, what is that? Oh, I forgot I had transferred some money into PayPal. I was like, well, how did that get there? That's no, nothing came from PayPal.
All right.
So we're good. Good Trouble would beat God at push-ups. Good Trouble collab. I would love to collab with Good Trouble. He's probably my favorite creator on this app. So if anybody wants to set that up, I'd be happy to do it.
Well, thanks everybody.
Yeah.
You guys are the best.
All right, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow morning and every morning, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time right here on TikTok. If you missed any of today's show, you can catch the replay on YouTube. And if you want to follow on Twitter or Blue Sky is lovely. I did find out this morning, Blue Sky, you still can't post videos, which is hopefully they get that figured out soon. And Instagram, Facebook, all those places at RTP Talks, except for on Twitter where it's at RTP Bets. I appreciate you guys today, and I really appreciate those of you who are on our side of the aisle who came up here to push back on my opinion. And I appreciate that we are a community that can have different opinions and have a civil conversation, even with something as sensitive and as emotion invoking as this assassination attempt and the highlight that's been put on healthcare. So I appreciate it. So thank you everybody that came up today. Thank you everybody who donated. Thank you everybody who just watched. Thank you everybody who liked. Thanks to the mods for all your hard work. And we will see you guys tomorrow morning. While we're playing the theme song to go out, everybody put in the chat who you think we should raid. We got the last 15 there, Drew. All right. Police wins it. Go ahead and raid Police. I don't know if you want to tell her that I sent you, but go ahead and raid Police. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning, bright and early. Love you all. Have a great day. Go ahead and raid. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning, bright and early.